also California, where we happen to take our kids for Disneyland with our school trips.
Can we
Isn't
please
Disney
focus
under?
on 3.03?
No, I am.
We're not talking about water
Disney
rights.
is. We're finding out it's super creepy and weird. California allows you to have sex with kids as long as there's a 10-year or less age difference. That's where we're taking our kids with our sexually confused teachers who don't have children of their own. I've been with my husband for 20-something years.
All right.
I never have to discuss my sex life in public because my 3 beautiful kids teach your girls not to let every guy come in them so they don't have to have abortions.
Miss Kingsley,
Take control of your children.
Can
you ejaculate?
Absolutely no.
Don't let everyone ejaculate in you. Control your own body. You don't have abortions. Planned Parenthood was founded to kill minorities.
We're going to...
Why are you cutting off my time?
You are completely out of order.
This is why
we are in a board meeting. This is out of order. Miss Kingsley, please leave the dais.
No, you don't get it. You don't get to control. Hey, you have a box of pubic hair. You have a box. You have a box of pubic hair you collected, Lola Brooks. I know about your book. I know about your book of pubic hair.
And I know about the pubic hair.
It's a.
Thank you, Miss
Kingsley.
Book
of pubic
from a galaxy near you. This is Brothers and Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins, for your intro. Welcome to Brothers and Booze. How are you doing, Doug?
Doing much better than that, Loon. Whatever. the box of pubic hair. That was the best.
Yeah. Was it a box or was it a book?
I thought you said box, but I'm also partially deaf, so that might not be the best judge of that.
You are completely out of order.
This is why
we are in a board meeting. This is out of order. Miss Kingsley, please leave the dais.
No, you don't get it. You don't get to control. Hey, you have a box of pubic hair. You have a box.
A box. Okay.
Is that like a box of teeth, like some serial killer has?
Or like a bag of dicks?
Well, that lady can eat a bag of those, so yes.
But it's kind of the same, though, right? Or
I don't know. All right, man. What are you drinking?
Yes, working draft. Those who wait, like our fabulous guest. He's waiting back. To those who wait, yeah. It's a Czech style Pilsner, but if you want to translate that out of beer terminology, it's a beer that tastes like beer.
Mm-hmm. It's a Pilsner.
Nice.
Ooh, look at that! Look at the part too.
Clean, wonderful, little hot presents all day long. Really nice.
Very nice. So, you can see I can still use the microphone because I'm an idiot, but yeah.
Look at that.
Look at
we're
this.
loving the art. Yes.
Another thing for my wife.
And this time Zach's on the right side of that conversation.
Yeah, sorry. So, for
with
me,
all that in a bag of chips.
Chips.
A box of pubic hair.
All that in a box of pubic hair. Yum.
Right.
Oh, man.
Wait till she finds out about the dick in the box.
Oh, man. No copyright, please. So, yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
what are you drinking again?
Well, I am going to start off with a kind of an oddball one, as I do. This is an orange pineapple creamsicle custard cream ale.
What in the hell?
Because I'm weird. You knew I had to get it because it has 18,000 things going on, and I want to see how weird it can get.
That's something else.
Yeah. Definitely got that orange stuff right on the nose, baby. What's your favorite glass?
Yeah, but can you say that again, please? Because what in the hell is correct?
Orange pineapple creamsicle custard cream ale. Made with Abbott's frozen custard. So
so we're looking for orange and we're definitely looking for pineapple. And we're looking for it to be smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to read all those descriptors. I like to try to figure out, okay, it looks orangey pineapple.
Man, it smells like an orange creamsicle. Like really does.
Yep. Custom cream ales, and boxes of pubic hair.
Okay, so no, this is actually better than I anticipated. I had not very high hopes for this beer. Like I said, it does get that nice orange creamsicle flavor that with the cream ale, and the custard. I mean, and there is some pineapple notes, so it's like it's good. It's definitely a one beer thing, though. And Zach's and started off the night right there. So yeah. So cheers.
Yeah.
Pubic hair you collected, Lola.
Whoa, wait! She said book there, so a book and a box of pubic hair.
Maybe
It was
both.
two different things. Yeah. Well, I was saying if it was a book, Doug, then we could talk to our friend Mallory O'Mara and get her to review it. When it comes on. I think she would love that. It's definitely down her lane of alternative, not being afraid of talking about it, doing anything. She would love the box of pubes. Maybe we even ask her about it. Or yeah, she's reading too much into it.
The jokes write themselves, folks.
I think that's a Prince song. Pubes and cream is a Prince song.
Like
It's
diamonds and
peaches,
pearls.
damn it. Right. It's like it's a box set of books. Okay. Of pubic hair.
Ooh.
That they take to Disney World or what? I
What
was
is it?
still trying to decipher all of that because I didn't know how she tied Disney to the pubes.
I know how.
And
I know how they tied them. It's that whole thing with the Disney in Florida and them, and then trying to make it sound like Disney's perverted. So Disney clearly has a box set of books of pubes because they let kids who are 10 years younger than people have sex. And it's like that meme with the guy with the red fucking strings going all over the place trying to find the answer to stuff.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you for explaining that because oh man. It's a big day and it's a big day in sports and it's a big day all over the place. There's a lot of things going on. Actually, wasn't there we didn't even get to talk about that fatherhood bill in Florida, which was a fucking mess. I don't know if you saw about that with Ron DeSantis. Anything he touches, in my opinion, he's like the Medusa of anything.
Yeah,
So
he's like the opposite of Midas.
So let's get our politics talk off before we get our guests in here because, well, he talks politics for sure, but he has so many other things that we should be talking about when he's here. One of them is apparently my hate of NBA Finals, but I'm not sure about all that. We got to talk about that, Doug. And then
sometimes you're a little exasperated when we start doing sports ball stuff, but that's okay.
Oh no.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't know if we talk about it enough. I just don't want it. We just don't want it to be a sports ball show. But with our guests tonight, we got to at least get into some of these details, especially the NFL draft, which is going on right now. Biggest sports ball we got.
I really don't want to talk about that as a Jaguars fan, but okay.
I wouldn't want to talk about anything as a Jags fan. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll get into my hatred of the ownership later. So.
Right. So without further ado, might as well bring him on. Our buddy, the man, one of my favorite people in the world, Art Eddy.
What up, gentlemen? First and foremost, everyone's putting in some great comments. But if we're talking about Disney and like pubic hair and all that stuff, like pubic dust instead of pixie dust, it's pubic dust. Come on,
pubic dust. Yes.
Lord of the okay. Right. Pubic dust. Yeah, Pubernocchio.
There you go. Zach's got the Disney thing to it, I guess. Oh, nice. Here we go.
Oh.
All right, what's going on for the one person or two people that are watching the stream that don't know who you are? Give us a quick grab of that.
First of all, I'm major fans of your guys, so it's really an honor to be on the show. That's number one. Number two, Art Eddy here, Art of Fatherhood. Got a podcast with the same thing. Love sneakers, love Star Wars, love you guys, love my family. Wu-Tang's for the children, all that good stuff. I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, and you had us bump into who was it in the pre
the Mariah Carey remix with ODB.
Yes.
All right. I haven't heard that shit in a long ass time, Doug.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the story behind that, where it took them like 3 days for ODB just to record his part of that, and he did very little of that because he was like such a kind of space cadet that he just kept coming into the studio and leaving, and they wouldn't know where the fuck he was going. Like,
right. Wow, I'm surprised Mariah didn't kick him out, but maybe she did her piece. Because you know how they can, these duets, so a lot of times they don't sing together. They just mush that together. So, Art, what has been going on? Who have you interviewed lately that has been, that we could talk about? Because I know you got some in the tank that, you can't talk about. And we're going to, this is how Art does his shit 365. Doug, you got to hold some back. You got to know when to hold them and fold them and all that.
Yeah,
I know Art always has shit cooking, but tell us what's just came out recently that is fascinating that we can't miss.
Coming up, well, I'll say people who I have that I interviewed recently that hasn't been posted yet. I know maybe to Doug's chagrin, because he likes using that word. I would say D Brown. I talked to D Brown, Xavier McDaniels. It's like we're kind of like
the
talking about X-Man. I got my boy John Finkel, who I wrote the book with back in the day, and then Jeff. He's on with Jeff Antonella, who used to play for the MLS Portland Timbers. He's just recently retired, and he's got Smack Apparel. Him and his father-in-law have like this great site. We talked about that. We talked about like how he transitioned from being a pro athlete to going into just like full dad mode now, and he's excited for that. And then next week I have someone who writes for Star Wars, and that's going to be coming up because next week on Art of Fatherhood, as you can tell, I'm a Star Wars geek. Everything is going to have a Star Wars theme to it because May 4th is that week. Is in that week, and of course, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So that's what we got going on. So yeah, there's a lot of like old school NBA stars, some Star Wars people. So just be on the lookout for that.
Doug, let me jump in here quick. So, Art, you talk to a lot of one of your wonderful niches is your former and sometimes current players in sports and all that. And this is a question that you get to ask, and I hear you ask it periodically, but not throughout the whole thing. But do you have a collective thought about like what do these fathers do when they transition from literally having all the spotlight on them? Being in front of crowds, that whole aura, with the fans and people coming at you, to a lot of them seem like they just jump right into they go from that to literally stay-at-home dad. And now it's time for the wife, whoever she is, to go do her initiatives. And, athletes' wives are a lot of times involved in the community, or they're, they got their own things going on because they met at college and they want to start their careers. And so what do these guys collectively tell you about that? And that must be a fascinating aspect of talking to them.
Love that question. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it's a weird transition because they even talk about fatherhood in the locker room. So, and Jeff Antonella, his nickname was Dad Tonella because he has a series called It Had to Be Told, and it's kind of kids books geared towards like talking about Alabama, talking about the Cubs winning, talking about all these great sports stories, and they he puts it into kids form. And so he shares this one story just about like watching his oldest daughter, he's got two kids, help his son down the steps. And he's like, if I was getting ready for practice, I would be like, we gotta go, what are you doing? But he's like, because I was retired, I enjoyed that moment. A lot of, like you said, a lot of the spouses, they're doing the foundation work, and now when they're retired, they put the retired players go into that, into that foundation, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears in that. Mm-hmm. Another guy that I did not mention that's coming up, his name is Jason Brown. He used to play on the offensive line, He was actually going to go to 3 possible teams: the Panthers, stay with the Ravens, or go to my team, the Niners. This is a few years ago. He got a calling. He's like, no, I need to do it. He leaves millions and millions of dollars on the shelf. He buys a farm in North Carolina, and he's got 9 kids. Him and his wife got 9 kids, and all of the food, all of the harvest, the yield goes to people in need. Like, that is legit. I'm like, I got to get this guy on the podcast to talk about that. He has his kids help out with the farm, all that good stuff. So, I mean, stories like that, like, I want that to be told. So talk about a transition from living, like he was in his prime of his career. Like the 3 teams that offered him stuff, like a job to be on the team were the 3 teams that he wanted. And he's just like, no, I got to do this. I'm called to do this. It's legit, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. What's up, Doug?
All right. We also were remiss in yet again, we forgot to ask what our guest was drinking. So what you got, man? We saw you drinking. I was like, man, we didn't even ask him.
I'm drinking.
And that's why we got to keep those co-hosts aware. They're going to take over the shit, Doug.
Crown Royal and ginger ale, man. That's what I'm drinking.
Oh.
Got some limes going on in there for some accent. I see.
Yeah.
I love limes. I even have a pair of Nike Air Max 1s with limes in it.
And
you
Doug,
mean like the old Pip shoes with the glass, and you just have limes floating in it?
If you find those shoes, let me know, man.
Oh man, Doug, that's one for that drink is what I call, or I don't know if I call it, but it's a quintessential draft day drink. NFL draft is on now. It's because Doug, what you do is Art's got it down. You have it all right there. You have ice cubes, and that's just refillable. Like it's just simple. You don't have to move. Like us dumb craft beer people have like one craft beer, one type, like 18 of them. We have this big, wonderful selection that we love, but then half the fucking time, you go to you're like, what do I want to drink? And then there's just too many choices. Especially on a night where you should just be like, and just drinking. You should just be throwing them back.
No, but like having a can and just pouring a bottle is one thing. I got like a little cooler with ice cubes, some no joke, man. I got some lime wedges.
See?
I got all
You're
this.
prepared.
Dude, I was packing up like stuff for like not like a school lunch, but like obviously I'm packing up because I'm in my office. I'm walking upstairs. I'm like, I took a couple of trips because I need to come correct when I'm on your show. So that's why I made sure I had everything all set.
So don't be surprised. You got a box of cubes behind you.
It's Luke Skywalker's cubes.
Whose is that?
Oh, that's an awful lot of talk about pubes very early in the stream, Doug.
Yeah, hey,
that's before we got to the silly shit.
Yeah, that's Lauren. I don't know. Usually her ID shows up, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it happens.
Give it the program, Lauren. Let's go. Wookiee pubes. but isn't a Wookiee just a giant pube?
He's pretty much said yeah.
Right. So what's the newest on Star Wars, man? You're a big geek. We have this Obi-Wan thing coming soon, right? Or what's going on?
Disney Plus is actually supposed to be the 25th, and they pushed it back to the 27th. I think to kind of coincide with Star Wars Celebration. And Star Wars Celebration, for those who don't know, it's usually sometimes it's in Anaheim this year. It was in Chicago a few years ago before the whole world shut down. But it's just like the who's who of people that are, in the current Star Wars shows, past movies, all that stuff, come and celebrate. Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, is going to be Zach. We should be talking about Street Fighter since Zach is here.
He'll be on in a few weeks. We'll have his opinions. I promise you.
Okay, go on.
So they're coming out with the episode on the 27th. There's like 2 episodes like back to back, and then they're gonna go like every the following week like 1 episode, and it's gonna take place between. It takes place a little bit after Revenge of the Sith.
I can't do that, Art. Now it's time to talk about streaming. We'll get back to your shit in a second here. I can't fucking do it, Art. What can I do? I can't live with these releases like once a week. And Doug laughs at me. I don't give a fuck.
I'm the opposite. Give me that.
I don't give a shit what Doug says. I can't do it. Now, Ozark, one of my favorite shows, just dropped 7 shows, Art, last night at 2 a.m. Central. What motherfucker was there at 2 a.m. Central? Looking at these things, it was me. Doug, I got a little bit of a piece of an episode, and I got the final episode of the whole series. I did 6 of them today. Look in my eyes. Y'all were laughing at me because I showed up like some diva 1 minute before stream time.
Like Mariah Carey.
Right. Like, y'all thought it was all glamorous or I was doing something good. No, I was behind because I've been watching this damn show all the time.
Greg's writer is like, I want yellow peanut M&Ms, I want a bag of limes,
Right.
and I want to watch Ozark. Right up until the time I have to go live. Hear me? Thank you.
Right. And the craft beer fridge needs to be filled. So when I get over there, there's 16, there's every kind of style that you need to know. There's 16 styles, 16 different beers. But no, Art, seriously, you're just like everybody else. You consume this content on all these wonderful streams that we have now. Yes, it's more than cable, even after we cut the cord. We all know. We're all in it. At some point we just say fuck it. But do you like to binge or do you like them like slowly fed to you like dog in a nice like with a fork and it's so nice. And everybody gets to sleep and it's all great. Fuck sleep. Who cares? Sleep is for when you die. Who said that, Doug? Somebody said that.
Somebody who wasn't very wise.
Abraham Lincoln on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said that shit, so it must be good if somebody
I'll
said
sleep
that
when I'm dead.
Right. I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's what it is. Anyway, there was a question in there, Art, and I think you got it.
I'll get to that in 1 second. But the whole streaming service, you're so spot on. It's like, oh, I'm going to cut the cord. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're paying double what you were paying on your cable. And the idea of like, it's just the idea of like, don't look what this hand's doing because we're still going to charge you the same amount, And it's like,
right.
I was supposed to say, but now I got 12 different streaming services. It's like you're going to like 5 different cable outlets being like, I want this. And then like, hey, AT&T, hey, Verizon. So I get that. To your chagrin, Greg, I'm more on Team Doug about watching a show once. It's something to look forward to. I, as a sneakerhead, I collect all retro sneakers for the most part, right? We were talking about old school posters. I got like old school, like Bo Jackson, David Robinson, Michael Jordan posters from my heyday because I'm a hoarder, collector, whatever the case may be. But like, I don't mind watching. It's kind of like back in the day, TGIF, right? When you had like Family Matters and all those shows, you'd sit down and watch on a Friday night because you had no life like me. And then like, you were just like watching these shows. I don't mind like every Wednesday. Like I'm so into Moon Knight right now. I don't mind watching it. I feel like I see the fun of binging. Like if you're sick and all of a sudden you need to catch up on a series and just hanging out in bed or doing whatever, and you're taking a U day, yeah, go ahead and binge. For me, I just like an episode, just digest and see what's going on, and then if after the series is done, I might I'm gonna probably watch the hell out of Moon Knight again and again and again because there's so many clues from the first episode to now. I mean, give Oscar Isaac all the flowers for everything that he's doing right now.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Amazing. But the problem is, again, streaming, there's so like, have you seen this show? No, it's really good. Why haven't you seen it? I am probably the only person in the world that has not seen Ted Lasso, and everyone's like,
I haven't.
Look, 3. You got 3 here.
Whoa, this is the trust tree. I knew it.
It's the trust tree.
Sad Voltron unite. Yay.
And everybody tells me how great that show is, and I'm like, I have too many streaming services. I'm not adding fucking Apple Plus too. Fuck that.
Well,
also, too, you also get some stream services for free, depending on if like you have a Verizon phone or an AT&T phone or whatever the case may be. Nice. Jeff Tepper is in our group as well. Nice. So if you're paying for certain things or want to cut things down, just double check, do a discount, double check, and see if you can get some free stuff because some people are paying for things and you don't need to pay for it. The more you know.
And That and Doug, what we do in this house is we will buy it for like that promotion time and then immediately cancel. But then you got to get your shows in back to the binging thing.
Yeah,
so because
that's where binging is awesome.
The lady of the house wants to see that one with Samuel L. Jackson on Apple, where he has Alzheimer's or something.
Coach
like
Carter.
Yeah, something like that, and she wants to see that, but we don't want to pay for Apple TV. So when she signs up for that, then I'm gonna jump on Ted Lasso and binge it. And what is the movie of the year? It's about a deaf person.
Oh, Coda.
Coda is on Apple TV too, so I'm gonna check that shit out too when I do it for but Apple TV is only like $4 a month or something, isn't it? So like do it for a couple months and then get out. But you're gonna have to binge, Doug. You're gonna have to binge.
After you're done watching Coda, Greg, you and I need to talk because there's something that I was listening to a podcast that kind of breaks down movies, and they were just talking about the deaf community being don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for Greg because he's Tania. But I was just
I won't. I will just say that as a partially deaf person, I do run in some of those circles, and there was some hemming and hawing about that movie, but at least there was some representation, which is not something you see a lot for the deaf community. So
and okay, also going back to Star Wars, but in a second, Doug, I'm sorry if I was deaf-splaining over you.
Nope, that was my whole point. That was my whole point.
But in Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of people hated, I think I'm a Star Wars apologist probably, but I enjoyed. There were certain things I would maybe have changed, but the Tusken Raiders, they some of them were deaf, and they were talking about sign language and all this other stuff. And so I think the guy that was in Coda was also in the Book of Boba Fett as a Tusken Raider.
Ah, look at that. Doug, you only get partial because you're only partial.
Okay. I accept that. I'm good with that.
Jeff says if you have T-Mobile, you get the Tile MLB package for free.
I could give a shit because I don't like baseball, but
the world doesn't revolve around you, dog. Okay,
that's true. Good for you guys.
I'm right. Okay. I'm not a baseball fan either, but I mean, if you are, that's a really good tip. Yeah. Or if you have that flexibility with your.
There is. I also wanted to say there's only one thing on Apple TV that I really, really wish I could watch, and it's a show called Severance, which is basically like this trippy thing about how, I can't remember the guy's name, Adam Scott, who's been in Parks and Rec and a million things. And and he plays a guy who basically you go in, and the premise is you go in and you agree that when you're at the office, all your personal stuff is severed from your brain. You don't think about it all. You just do work. And then when you leave, you don't remember anything about the office. It's supposed to be super mind trippy and all that. And that kind of shit, that's my kind of stuff to watch. That's the only thing with that. I hear Ted Lasso is great and awesome, but that kind of show is the thing that would make me want to get that. So.
I'm just saying, while people are watching Ted Lasso, I'm watching the animated series Star Wars Rebels again and again.
Right. So Art, so you are a Star Wars person. Do you fuck with Star Trek?
Yeah. I grew up, my dad was a big Star Trek fan. We watched the original series and Next Generation. A shameful plug. I had just recently had Will Wheaton on, who played Wesley Crusher in the Next Generation. Jonathan Frakes on. Yeah, with Wheaton. And dude, listen to his story. Whether you listen to my podcast or because he just had a book, so of course he's talking about it. But man, he's talking about a lot of things and how his parents just totally effed him up, man. Effed him up. And and he's got two adopted sons, and it's like stepsons, I should say, but they wanted to take his name. It's a we break down a lot of great things, and he even there's a fun video game aspect to it. He made it a metaverse Wayne Gretzky, but Blaine Gretzky. So all of these different things, man. He's a legit person. I thanked him for doing the audiobook for Ready Player One. I read the book. Our boy Patrick Quinn got me a signed copy from Ernest Cline. And then Ready Player One was fantastic. Ready Player Two was kind of like wash, rinse, and repeat in some areas.
Yeah.
And I love me some Prince, but like after reading that book, I'm like, I couldn't listen to Prince for a week. And you'll find out why if you read the book. You know what I'm talking about, right, Doug?
I do. Now the thing with Ernest Cline, and when he wrote Ready Player One, he beats you over the head with trivia. And he did the same thing, but unfortunately, Prince was a little bit more of a focus in the second book. It probably should have been, but yeah.
Zach, by the way, yes, I did have Shatner on my podcast.
No way.
Yeah.
Did he talk like this?
No, he was good. He was fine. It was for a completely different movie. It was like a straight to like DVD, whatever. But I was just like, someone sent me a press release. I'm like, love to talk to Shatner about it, and they're like, sure. I was like, cool. So, yeah, he was cool.
All right.
Too soon, Zach. Too soon.
Doug, do you have something to say?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just do a second beer because that first one was very sweet, and I need something kind of to maybe take that sweetness away.
Nice.
So this is from a local brewery called Water Street Brewing Company. Turn it the right way and so you can actually see it. This is in downtown, close to me. This is they make good beer. Their can art sucks. Every can art they make sucks, but this is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. You see, it is plain and not very enticing. But they make one of the better porters I've ever had called 1,000-Year Porter, which is a great name for a porter. But the can art on that sucks. And they've been around for like 10 years. You think maybe hire somebody who knows how to do graphic design, but whatever. And it just popped all open. All right.
Wow, you went hard on it. You went hard on it, buddy.
Yeah, I did. So sorry. But look at the freaking look how dark that shit is. Ooh, baby.
Do you guys, I mean, I think I know the answer to this question, but just, on the topic of beer, and I really love the community you've created, Greg, with just, just bringing people in and sharing like certain things. Like, do you guys have like a top 3 style of beer that you guys like always go to? I mean, I know you guys are super like open to trying new things, and I love it. I'm more of like a lager, pilsner, ale type of guy. I will try some things here and there, sours, some porters here and there, but like, what are you guys in the sense of like, what are your go-to? Like, if you're like not feeling you want to like test out a new beer or a new brewery, like what are your go-tos?
Well, for me, I will say it's stouts, porters, and one of my other favorites is Goses. I like Goses a lot, although I do really like a good lager. That's something. Greg, what are you pouring there? You got like a hazy something.
Still a hater.
Still a hater on the porters after beer chick.
That'd be a great Stella Artois like knockoff Stella hater.
Stella hater, right? Stella hater. Yes, I like Pew boxed aged beers.
I'm not a porter, but I still hate a lot.
Right.
Hell a lot. That's a beer. No porter, just straight hellas. I'm not a porter, but I just hell a lot.
I just hell a lot. Yes.
I like
hazy pale ale from Pulp Culture, from one of my favorites, Working Draft. I would have to say pale ales are probably one of my favorites. IPAs. I'm an IPA person. Of course, I have to say porters. But porters have kind of waned on. They kind of waned this period. Like they used to be more when I was coming up. There were more porters. They're less. Stouts have taken over. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm that IPA guy, man. Everybody complains about that IPA guy. That's me. Just so you know, I will drink all the IPAs and enjoy them all and find a dumb way to talk about each one of them. And then y'all be over there like falling asleep, rolling your eyes, acting like you don't want to hear that shit. And it's fine. But I am that IPA guy. I could almost be Daddy IPA, but that shit does not sound as good as Daddy Porter. So it's not going to work. Otherwise, I might have transitioned.
I don't think you're not one of those stereotypical like IPA. I don't see that in you, man.
Maybe I don't act that way, but in my head I am. Maybe you know how sometimes people say, you know, they lost a whole lot of weight, Art, but they're like, in my head I'm still a fat motherfucker. Like I have fat boy mentality, even though I look like this skinny person. I've heard a bunch of people say that. That's probably me. I have the IPA geek mentality, but I don't act it out, and you know, in ways that they do, which is try this IPA and all this. You know what I mean? Like the IPA wars on Twitter. Don't even go there, or wherever. I think maybe later now on TikTok. I was gonna say, y'all are you on TikTok?
I started a TikTok account because I went to this like Disney press event for that Star Wars land, and like pretty much everybody else that was there were TikTokers, and they were like, "Who? What are you on TikTok?" I'm like, "Nah, I do a podcast." Like, "Oh, that must be fun." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Like they're like 15 years younger than me. I'm like, "All right, cool." Like I'm the old man. I should be like wearing some New Balances and just like wearing some, you know, jean shorts and being like, I just want to talk about the weather with you guys. And do you guys have like a will yet? Do you have insurance? We should probably leave after the third inning. What do you guys think? Like, but it was just like, I'm like, I should probably get one. One guy's like, dude, you should totally get it. I'm like, all right, fine. But it's just pretty much all the stuff on other social media channels that I have. I just post all that crap there. Am I creating videos? Nah, maybe not. Should I? I don't care. But like, here's the thing about TikTok. I'm going to sound like, you know, just a grumpy old man.
Guy. Right.
But like, there's like, you know, people like have imposter syndrome, or like I feel like everybody is doing the same thing, kind of like on Facebook. Everyone's like, oh, here's my 21 questions, fill it out or you don't like me. Like TikTok is like I've got like 5 like theme songs to all of this, right? And it's like
and they change every month.
And they change every month, but they still go back to those damn songs. And you're like, oh, I'm changing into this, or I'm doing this transition. Everybody else is doing like, I just feel like the idea, like originality is totally dead on TikTok. If someone sees something, they sniff it, it's like, everybody do it. Everybody get to this room. This is what we're doing. Like, you remember the movie Clue with like Tim Curry, right? Yeah, right?
Yeah, Tim Curry.
Remember like how they're all like running to the different rooms towards the end?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what TikTok is. They're like, oh, this is a trend?
That's yeah, but that's every social media platform now, though.
Yeah,
that's every fucking TV medium now. They get one thing and everybody tries to ride that. Like, unfortunately, that's yeah. I will tell you that I do a thing like before bed. I will watch some TikTok because it's fucking short and a lot of it's dumb, and I want something that I don't have to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. Right. So we're all too old for this shit. Is that what you're telling me? I feel attacked.
We're like Danny Glover.
Right. Right. See, when I was going on, when I was talking about IPAs, JG said, "Someone wake me up when I'm done." Right. And that's where I can be like an IPA person because you really want them to shut the fuck up about it.
So wake you up.
Right. But this is a fun one. I'm a hazy pale ale. Hazies are, well, either all the rage or all the not, depending on. I hear more sentiment. I'm tired of the fucking hazy. Just give me a beer that tastes like a damn beer. More than I'm hearing people love the hazies. But these breweries are just cranking out the hazies now, and they really don't give a shit about what you think, actually. It's the feel that I get because, you know, people are trying to make money.
I'm not
nobody's buying the shit.
I'm not an IPA guy. I'm sorry, I'm not an IPA guy, but like, I love Sam Adams. I'm a Sam Adams dude, and like it was Sam Adams 76. They changed it to light and hazy.
Yeah, they changed the recipe. I remember that.
And I was just like, why'd you change the 76? And I was just like, I mean, it tastes similar to what it was originally was, but they were jumping on that train, being like,
right,
this is what we're doing.
Right, but can't you keep your 76 and then jump on the train over here too?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I like the 76. That's one of my faves. I agree with you, Art. I don't know. Sam Sam is in a bad place beer wise. We talked about this more than a few times, Doug. They're just in a bad place. Like they're stuck in between macro and micro, and they're really nice people that work there. And they're really a nice company. As far as what I mean by nice, I mean he generally wants to help his competition. He does not want to squelch them. He's not. Oh, what's? Yeah, wait. Well, I got a reaction I didn't think I was going to get. Sam Adams doesn't generally want to help their competition. They want to.
No,
that was a comment.
For the most part, I think they do. But
okay.
One of my friends, you're like, oh, whatever. Like, he likes Yingling, and so when I was living in Jersey at the time, when he would come down to visit, he'd just buy like a couple cases and go up with them because he lived in New Hampshire. And you guys should change the name to Hazy Brothers and Booze.
Great.
But like, so he was always like, I'm like, dude, they should probably have Yingling up there by now. He's like, no. Like one of my friends, he was like a distributor, worked at a distributing company for beer and alcohol or wine or whatever. And he was like, certain bars would be like, we try to get it in, but certain companies, wink, wink, were saying like, we'll pay you for as long as you don't put that, because they felt like it was kind of like competition to the Sam Adams Light.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, that's just one story, and who knows if it's true or not? I don't know.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've always questioned whether they should be as nice as I perceive them to be, given the competition that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I want to comment on Tepper. Tepper said hazy is just a marketing word now. I would suggest to you, Jeff, that it's always been. Because when hazies first came out, I used to look at them and say, where's the haze? Because some of them didn't fucking have haze. And I remember that from the early parts of this. So hazy to me has almost always been, especially in the beer terms, it doesn't really matter because again, some of them don't even have haze. This one does. But I think it's just a word that, like Jeff's, implying, you just splash it on a beer, dog, and then you're gonna have people just run in and say, well, I'll try your hazy. All right. I like the last one that I got at the last 17,000 places I was at. So I'm gonna try yours, but sometimes though you have to give beer. Sometimes beer, it's not to us, but sometimes it can be very intimidating as far as when you walk in, depending on what the scenario is. Are you with your wife? Are you with your family? Are you with the boys? What's going on? And that kind of dictates sometimes what you drink and how fast you can drink or how fast you can get the boys to, you know what I mean? So there's always all these. So sometimes walking into a bar, and I'll be the first to tell you, has 20 taps and none of them you never heard of besides Guinness and Coors Light. That can be really intimidating. Sometimes you just don't want to go through that whole process of trying to figure out what the fuck you want to drink. You just want something served to you so you can get on to who or whatever you're trying to do, or if you're trying to, you haven't seen your kids all week, and you're not trying to sit there for 5 minutes to take a beer option. So I don't know if y'all have sometimes it's a situational and it puts you in spots where it's not cool to have to like go through them all to figure out what the fuck you want to drink.
I would say for me specifically is that I'm lucky enough after many years to know kind of the realms that I can go in, but there's a lot of taps and there's a lot of beers I don't know. I'm going to go with, hey, give me a porter, give me a stout. At least I know what I'm getting there, kind of.
And you'll just suffer through it if it sucks.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I know with IPAs specifically, there's very few that I really dig, and there's only certain styles I like. And sometimes, like, maybe it is just easier for me to go, just give me a stout. And maybe Guinness is what it is because you have 15 fucking IPAs, a Guinness and a Coors Light and some other thing. And that's the problem is there's freaking so many IPAs that sometimes that crowds out the idea of having other styles to even try.
Right. So just give me a damn Guinness. Right.
Yeah. And Guinness might not be my go-to, but it is if I have to choose that between that and all the IPAs because I don't know what I'm going to get with the IPAs. I could get something I really dislike because I'm very finicky about IPAs. So.
Life is like an IPA. You never know what you're going to get.
This is true. And Jeff makes a good point here too, where they're even turning in IPAs into hazies. That beer is probably hazy the whole damn time they brewed it, and now all of a sudden they're gonna slap hazy onto it because people are gonna be like, "Give me your hazy." All right, shh, hazy, Doug. We never saw this coming. Like a box of pubes. Right. So, Art, how do you navigate this whole? See, I don't know if I could do this. Be a sneakerhead like you, because I would want them all. Like, the more I see sneakers, right? The more I see sneakers, the more I get you. Not that I didn't get you before, but like I never really got the whole sneaker craze. But now I'm on Twitter and it gets served to me, and I just see like I follow. You know how it is. You follow a couple, and then all of a sudden that's your whole fucking timeline. Sometimes.
Thank
and
you,
it's
algorithm.
just like, yes, and it's fantastic and fun because I don't really want to buy them, but I just see myself like if you had the money to buy them, I would have like OBJ's house. I don't know if you saw that. They showed the house that he's selling in Cleveland or whatever. And he has it. You walk in and it's like, or you see the picture and it's like you walk into a shoe store. He just has them all displayed, Art, and they're like all like boxes. Like, you know, remember the old days where you had a tendency to be like, okay, I went that one in size 12, and I went. Now it's different. But how do you differentiate, or how do you buy the ones that you can? Then you got jackasses like Kanye selling fucking sneakers for $500. That shit's unsustainable, even for like Elon Musk or somebody. Like, so where's the line drawn for you with sneakers?
Oh, here we go. Ready? How much time you got?
Because you got kids.
For you all the time.
You do well. I know you do well on your own, and I'm not even saying that. But you don't do well enough that you can be buying fucking Yeezys every time they come out.
I wouldn't want to buy Yeezys when they come out.
Well, I understand all
it's
that.
Like to me, it's like burlap sack. It's like someone took a burlap sack and put some laces in it and be like, "Here you go." Like, I'm sorry. Even the Nike Yeezys, I'm like, whatever. I felt like Victor Cruz came out with a couple of Nike Cruises that were similar to the Yeezy, especially like the colorways. But like, dude, I think the 80s and 90s were such a great time for basketball, right? And even before Jordan, you had Larry Bird and Magic in the Converse. You had Dr. J. You had like so many different like sneakers out there. And like I mentioned, D Brown. We talked to him about the pumps and all that, the Reebok pumps and all that. Then you had Adidas as well. But when the Jordans came out, man, the Jordans and then like the Bo Jacksons, the David Robinsons, all those shoes that came out, I was just like, it was amazing. And the Air Jordan 1, 2, and 3 were great. 4, like the 3 was like, this shit is legit. And then all of a sudden the 4 comes out, the 5s. I fell in love with the 5s, not only from Jordan playing in, but like Will Smith before he was slapping the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth. Like he was like rocking them in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And like
he was.
The 5, I got married in the Air Jordan 11s. Those are the ones that like Boyz II Men sang at the Grammys and all that. I got most of the people at my wedding party, like some retro Air Jordans to match with the tuxes and all that. But my parents like, we're not spending money on this. So like, I remember the first pair of Nikes I got were the Bo Jackson SE trainers. They were the Auburn colors. I was mowing lawns in like 6th grade. First day I was rocking them, was able to, pick them up, and it was awesome. And then I think like in high school, I got the Air Jordan 10s for my basketball team. And then I was in college, had my first credit card, and like in 99, the Air Jordan 4 came out. They retroed it. And I'm like, I remember buying it on my friend's, my roommate's computer. I'm like, boom, got them. And then my wife lived in New Jersey at the time. When I come to visit in the summer, like the Palisades Mall had all these like sneaker shops. And like, I got the Air Jordan 5s with the actual Nike Air on the logo. And like, it just started. It just like, I just started getting the bug. And here's a funny story for anybody who's listening to this and collecting sneakers, man. 2000 or 1999 or 2000, I called up Champ Sports. I'm like, hey, I heard you're getting the Air Jordan 11s. I'm a big sneakerhead, and I love the fact you guys are bringing them back. And he's like, yeah, we're actually bringing them back in November. I'll, give me your credit card information. We'll put you on hold. Like, we'll, put it on hold. And once it comes out in November, you'll get them. I'm like, sweet. He's like, by the way, do you know the 3s and the 9s are also coming out? I was like, really? He's like, you want to put you on hold for that one too? Like, and back then, Jordans only came out like 3 times a year, not like every freaking month that they do right now, right? And I was like, yeah, cool. So I would get a postcard from Champ Sports being like, these shoes are on back order. And then like in May, the 3s came. And then in like August, the 9s came. And then in October or November, the 11s came. I remember I called back the next year. I'm like, hey, I heard they're coming up with, a couple other sneakers. Love to do the same thing. It's like, nope, Nike's not letting us do that anymore. I'm like, all right. So people started buying, like, kind of like getting like around our age, buying sneakers. I remember I was buying sneakers overseas. It was actually cheaper in Europe. They'd come out like on the night before. So I'd just be online picking them up. Like it would, like FedEx, it would be cheaper to ship from like Europe to like my home in New Jersey. And I was like, this is great. Now the sneaker game is out of control, dude. It is like people are creating bots, people are creating all these different like shoes and stuff. And if you got the hustle, you can't knock it. But like it's such a huge market now. And I haven't really been getting too many new shoes just because I'm like, one, like I have enough. And then two, it's like the shoes I want, it's tough to get. And then here's another thing. There's like, besides like UPS and FedEx and all those stuff, there's a company called Lasership. And it's a same type of like a parcel company. They steal people's sneakers. My sneakers, I ordered 2 pairs of Air Jordans. Both of them were jacked by that company, Lasership.
Lasership.
Yeah. And I was just like, and I was like, is it just me? I'm like, nope. You go on Reddit, you go on other places, and like they jack your sneakers, and they sell it for like double what you paid for them.
Wow.
So I always feel like if I get the pair of sneakers, if like Nike is like cool with me allowing me to like, oh yeah, you won the prize to purchase sneakers, like cool. I remember I got right like 2 years ago for my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna pick up the 13s. Never got them. Nike refunded me the money, but they were just like, yeah, we can't do anything. So
wow,
there you go. And like from everything from 99 to now, like Biggie Smalls, the game done changed. As he said that, man, it's crazy. Like
what's the percentage of shoes that you own? Sneakers that you own that you have not worn?
Probably about half.
Look at that.
The poor Pennsylvania rural kid in me is just fucking crying.
But to be honest, some of these shoes I did get for free. Like people would send me.
That's great. That's great.
All right, cool. So like,
right. But there's an aspect, Doug. You can't wear them, or they're not worth anything. That's not his fault.
Okay, no.
I'll still wear them. I'll like. There's certain shoes I get to wear.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. For me, my brain is very much. All right, if I'm spending money on this, how am I getting my money's worth out of that?
So you got to wear it.
I got to use it. If I'm getting 2 pairs of jeans, I'm going to wear the shit out of those things until they have holes in, and then I will get more jeans. Shoes. I can't spend more than $60 on shoes for myself. I mentally am like, fuck that. That's too much.
That's
and that is again, that is, could I afford to get more expensive shoes? Yeah.
Yeah, but Doug, you're not. But shoes are more than just what you put on your feet, brother.
For me, they're just something that gets me from point A to point B, like a car. I also don't give a shit about cars. Get me something that I am very utilitarian when it comes to stuff.
Same here, man. I rock a minivan. I don't care.
Hey, does that shit work? Great. Awesome. And I'm good.
But a car shows your style, Doug.
Yeah, my style is I paid money for this and it works. I don't give it. I'm not here to show up to a fucking movie premiere.
Doug, don't you have an image to uphold, Doug?
What image do I have to uphold? I'm a freaking doofus 50-year-old white guy. What image do I have to uphold?
I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know.
But here's the thing, though, too. Like some people like invest in stocks, right? There are certain sneakers I don't wear because I'm like later on in life, like.
Yeah, that'll be worth something. Okay, but that's an investment.
But you have to know, like with anything in any market, there's always got to be a buyer, right? There always has to be a buyer, and I've been lucky enough to like reap the rewards in the sneaker game a couple times. So like, you got to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is me too, because I was a dude that always got my sneakers dirty the second they got home. And then my mother was like, "Your sneakers are already dirty." Well, what the fuck? Your sneakers.
Yep.
Like, I would just at some point I would just shut up and not respond. There's really nothing. There's no way I'm gonna win anything in any of this.
No. Like here's the thing. Like I think like just like what you guys came into, right? A whole world of like pubic hair in a box, and that was a book or whatever, right? Like, I think no matter what as long as it's not hurting anybody and it's not like hurting you or anybody else, and if it's like sneakers, like beer can, whatever it is, like coins, Beanie Babies, whatever the case may be, like there is going to be like a thing that is your niche, or maybe you like to draw, maybe you like to travel. Like some people spend money on traveling, some people spend money on cars or wine or beer, whatever, right? As long as you're doing it in kind of a healthy way and you're not like, it's not like taking you over, I think it's fine. But like the sneaker game has definitely changed since we were growing up from the 80s and 90s to now. And there are certain things where like people just, I like turtles, nice. But the thing about it is, it's like it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And Greg, like, you're cool with like what you guys are saying. Like, I totally get it. Like, I'm not like the Yeezys and some other pairs of Jordans and other pairs of like Kobe's and all these other things. They're like going for like 200, 300, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, fam. Thanks. So you got to know your limits.
There's a line. So
there's a line, but there's also too. It's like you got to know what you love. Like my mom and my dad, collectors, and obviously you can tell collector, hoarder, whatever the case may be. Like there's certain things that ring true to me, and I'll just like that's that, like, you know, comic books, Star Wars, and shoes. Those are my jams.
Nike waffles with syrup and right with
shoe.
Yeah, I'm thinking with syrup and sauce or bacon and
Speaking of bacon, Nike came out with the Air Max 90s, the bacon colorway. It was a pretty sweet colorway. That stuff went out like immediately. Like now you have like, besides like eBay, but you have like companies like Flight Club and StockX that are not only selling sneakers, but they're selling like PS5s. They're selling like Star Wars figures, all of these different things. It's like there's a market, and because of the internet and people like have income that they want to spend this stuff on, that's what they do. It's crazy. Like, who was it? Someone mentioned Jeff Goldblum. Charles.
Yeah, that's
Charles
right
mentioned,
there. Right?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, good Lord, how am I doing?
How many drinks have you had?
50% of the shoes I wore is I don't know what that means, but no, like you look into that, and these kids, like high school kids, are making thousands of dollars in a few months, and it's like, do I get a job do I get a part-time job at a grocery store pushing cards for minimum wage, or do I flip sneakers? Like, I'm not mad of the way the game is. I'm mad when a parcel company steals my shoes. But like, if a kid creates a bot, or like someone creates a bot to flip shoes, hey man, if you can make money where it's like not like stressing you out and it's okay to do, go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Doug?
Yeah, so you're talking about things like shoe game, and mostly it seems centered on the whole basketball realm. And I'm going to shoehorn basketball into this fucking conversation now. So here we go. So did you start following basketball and getting into the shoes, or was it the other way around? So a chicken and egg question first before we get into the NBA.
It was like the sport of basketball. Like, I moved around a lot as a kid, and I was a football. Like, my family's from Buffalo. I was the only one born out of that state or New York, Buffalo, New York, out of New York. But like, man, like football was God in Buffalo, New York. And then we moved around. At the time when I started caring about basketball, it was in like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And I was living out in a suburb of Chicago, in Naperville. And of course, Jordan, right?
You're in Jordan's backyard. Okay.
Oh, big time. So like, basketball was huge, and like one of my favorite memories was watching the finals against the Lakers versus Magic, right? And it was when Jordan was wearing the Air Jordan 6s, and it was just like the black and red colorway was fantastic, and the Bulls won, and it was just like, all right, cool. And then it'd be like synonymous with every year that they won, like what shoes was he rocking, right? So the shoes came into it. Like there'll never ever ever be another shoe like the Air Jordan, like Spike Lee, Jordan, and that time was
Marcus
just
Blackman.
perfect storm. Yeah. Do you know? Like that, it was just amazing. Like that whole thing was just like, I fell in love with the threes. Like the fours were amazing. And then the fives came with the holographic tongue. I'm like, yep, favorite shoe. And then the 11s came. I'm like, okay, second favorite shoe. So those were great. And so like, yeah, it's just basketball was great. Like the 80s and 90s. And basketball today is great. I'm not like, going to be an old head being like, oh, they don't play like they like. Everything has to evolve, right? If it's going to like stick, it has to evolve. And I love watching the 80s and 90s, playing NBA Jam, all that good stuff. And then like the sneaker obsession just came from that.
Yeah. So shifting into more modern NBA stuff, are there shoes for modern players that you dig? Like I remember hearing like, and I'm not big, but I remember hearing very clearly people mocking Steph Curry shoes, and like just so. Are there players that you look at the shoe? That's cool. Like a couple of my kids got shoes. One got Kyrie Irving's and one got Paul George shoes. Both players I disliked intensely, but like okay, but like, are there certain players you like their shoes that they come out with?
I got a couple of Paul Georges. One that I have not like. There's a few like they're comfortable as hell to play hoop in. Like at local Y outside. There's a couple of ones that I play in that are Paul Georges. One that I have not rocked was the PlayStation Paul Georges. Man, I have the tongue lights up, either the PlayStation logo or his logo, and it's amazing. I'm not wearing those at all. I was like, these are so
those are
awesome.
collector's items.
Yeah. A lot of people like on the Celtics, they have like the Jordan brand, but I do like here's the thing about Steph Curry. People were like clowning him as a dad of daughters. Like he came out with like a Curry shoe for girls, and I thought that was fantastic. Like there was one fan who was like reached out like, I love your shoes, but they don't have like a girl version of it. It's really different and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, boom! Like he's like, all right, let's get on that. Like that is amazing, right? And there's a couple of Jordan brand athletes that are women that play and have some really cool shoes as well. So who else is out there? I mean, I know it's like not a current player, but Kobe's are great. But that's the story for another day with what's going on with Kobe and Nike and all that stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. If people are in the sneakerhead community, they kind of know what's up with that. But trying to think, I would say like the Paul Georges are comfortable. Some of the new Jordans are great to rock on the court. They're less like style like the retro ones as opposed to like nowadays, but they're more like these are great basketball shoes. And I'd say the Paul Georges are the ones that I kind of mess around with.
You will you buy knockoffs?
I bought one by accident on eBay years ago, but no.
That's a no.
No, that's a no.
It's not like it. And here's the thing, right? Like, if people buy like a Gucci purse or a Gucci belt or something like that, it's a knockoff. All power to you. Like that's fine. But I know that one, they're probably not going to like stand up if you're either rocking them. Like the ones that I'm like, I'm all right. I got bamboozled. Fine, I'll rock them. Like no joke. Like 3 months into it, they started like just like
they become lawnmower shoes. That's what I do. Hey,
Charles, I do have some Stride Right shoes. There's some Star Wars. Charles. Like it's pretty cool. Like there was actually like a 2-set like Stride Right sent me. It was like a Vader shoe and a Luke Skywalker shoe, and the Luke Skywalker shoe was for kids, and my kids didn't want them, so like I gave them to a neighbor who had a boy who was a big fan of Star Wars. I'm like, here you go, man, rock them. And they're like, you serious? I'm like, yeah, but I do have it's somewhere, but like I have a Vader Stride Right shoe, and it's all Velcro. So when I get old and I can't tie shoes, there you go. I'll be rocking those.
That's a Macklemore thing. Got the shoes with the Velcro.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing is, I want to get into this, and I don't know the easiest way. What's your NBA team? Are you still a Bulls fan? Is that your squad, or like who else do you mess with?
I'm still a Bulls fan. I was also, even in the 90s, it was kind of weird. Like I kind of was if I had a second team, it would be the Spurs because I was a big David Robinson fan. Mm-hmm. And when Tim Duncan came in, and what Greg Popovich is doing, not just on the court, but like outside the court, just kind of being like, just kind of focus on this topic for right now. And he does it in a way it's like, yeah. And some people consider him like being a grumpy old man, like whatever. But it's almost like with fantasy football, where not that I do fantasy basketball or anything like that, but like you look at players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Not a Bucks fan. But if you read his story and you think about all the struggle that he and his family went through, like that book, I'm blanking on. I think it's just Giannis, right?
Yeah, and I think it was made by a writer from The Ringer.
And she did a fantastic job on that. Like, you want to look at someone who like deserved it, and everybody was like counting him out during the the playoffs and the finals. People were like doing the whole like. Remember when Karl Malone was like taking forever to do a free throw, and everybody was like counting like 1, 2, because you have 10 seconds to shoot a free throw each time. They were doing the same thing to Giannis because he like had a mental block, but he got through it. And when he won, man, like his brother was on his team with him, and they were like from where they came from Greece to now, that's an awesome story. Like, you got to look at people who had just killed adversity, had tough times, and like, yep, I'm going through it. And it was, as much as that, like, I feel like sports is the last real like drama, and like it's not scripted, it's real, and it's fantastic. So like Giannis just comes to mind right now. Like, if you look at his backstory, read that book, it's amazing. Like, if I couldn't share this like little anecdote from the book, he was supposed to get cable or something along those lines, and there was like like the window from like 8 to 9, like 8 in the morning to 9 at night. We'll be there. You gotta be just stay at your house, right? But he had practice, and he's like, he called up one of the people from the Bucks. He's like, can you just stay here and wait for the cable guy? Like, all right, cool. The next day after practice, Giannis goes up to that guy that like was waiting in his room. He's like, or his apartment. He's like, did you take 3 Oreo cookies from me? And he's like, what? It's like, did you just eat 3 Oreo cookies from my cabinet? And he's like, yeah, I was hungry. I really couldn't leave. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, that's fine. I was just wondering. And it comes to find out, because there were like scarcity for food in Greece, like,
yeah,
they take their portions and make sure that they have enough for the next day. Now that he's making millions, he doesn't really have to worry about that. And he makes sure that his family's taken care of. Like, how awesome of a story is that?
And like, his story is pretty startling. Like, there's a lot of folks that you see that in the NBA with like, God, what's I'm blanking on. He was on OKC. He was with the Raptors. The center. Now my brain is gonna.
Not
no.
Siakam.
No. The other guy. He's not with them anymore. But he's another story. Serge Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka. Yeah.
He came from like just fucking pennies in the middle of that. Like, just like, you look at stories like that. That's super. And you just go. It's people that they're like, they have such a perspective that we don't have. Being American, and yeah, it's an American thing. There are people who are poor in America, desperately poor, but not like that. Like, there's a difference. Like, there's people that are so poor they don't even realize they're poor because they don't get to see the other stuff we get to see.
And just again, not to, I don't know, I just have to say this because it's about like people needing money and people needing help. The whole idea of like Elon Musk buying Twitter for like $45 billion. Where could that money go towards? That could be more impactful. Granted, it's his money. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. But I'm like, if I had that money, I say that now, but like, where would that money be going towards, right? Like, what could you do? Like, someone even said to him, was like, why don't you kind of end like the hunger problem in here in the States? And so he's like, oh, you give me a plan, I'll do it.
And then he doesn't do it after he gets a plan.
Yeah. So like, I'm just saying, like, that's the thing where, damn you, Zach Rosenberg, let me lose my train of thoughts. It's not pickles. It's
limes.
It's limes. That's what it is. No, but like, that's the thing where it's like, where could that money go towards that's in a better idea? Like, do you really need to buy Twitter? Nah, probably not.
Right. And this is what I was talking about before. All right, I don't know if you saw this. That's OBJ's sneaker room in his house. So,
apparently a jersey room too, right? You got fucking jerseys at the wazoo.
Right.
But like I told you, some of the sneakers I get, right? All of those probably are free.
Sorry.
What the hell was that?
That was my phone. One of my dad blogger friends was calling me, not realizing I'm in the middle of a show. So thank you, Derek Bremer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Apparently, he does not know that we do this every Friday, but whatever. Yeah.
Apologies, folks.
OBJ. Yeah, free and I don't know. Like
more power to you. More power to you. And like,
yeah, right. But don't they trade shoes too? Or they just trade jerseys?
Trade shoes. They do things, and like Steph Curry will give, like not just Steph. I'm just pointing him out again because of sneakers. Like, they give like game worn sneakers to kids or whatever. And the fact that some of these players, like everybody might clown on LeBron, right? Like even though I'm a big Jordan fan, there's certain things that maybe like, oh, LeBron, like he's in the conversation and all that, but like you got to think about Bill Russell, Kareem, all those other guys, right? But what LeBron is doing outside of like the school and all the other things that people are doing that are great that sometimes people don't focus in on, like those are the things. It's like, look at the impact that they're doing. So that's the thing where it's like, they're like, I'm guessing if they had, I mean, they're well off, don't get me wrong, but if they had Elon Musk money, I think they would be like creating bigger impacts in different communities because they know what it's like, right? So it's like, that's the thing where you see OBJ, other people that are making a difference and making, like that dude, like I was talking to that I interviewed that will be coming up soon on my podcast, Jason Brown, like he was making millions. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to buy a farm. My family all taken care of. During the pandemic, he's like, Art, nothing really changed. We were doing our stuff on the farm and there we go. But then like all of a sudden he's like, I think it was like, since he's started, him and his family, he's donated like 100 million pounds of food. Just think about that. Like, just think of the impact that you're doing, right? Like, here you go.
It reminded me of, remember Vince Wilfork is doing something similar. He's doing something like that too. And you see him and they're like, they talk to him and he's like this big freaking brown guy with fucking overalls shirt. And just like, I'm just making, I'm growing food. And like, that kind of shit's admirable. Like to walk away from money and just, that's my calling. Great. Hey,
I'm not sure.
So I'm going to jump in with a third beer because this is one of the best can art beers I've seen in a long fucking time.
In your life?
Not my life, but one of the great ones. So this is called Clawfoot Bathtub.
What?
Clawfoot Bathtub.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin of the people from Venture Brewing, this is a pastry stout. So
much fun here. So much fun here.
But the descriptor of it is chocolate covered strawberry and banana pastry stout.
What?
Yeah. And I had to get it. So
but sorry, but it sounds like trash.
It might be, but the can art is awesome.
Jonathan.
Right. Right. Okay.
All these people that are in the chat are just kind of like just awesome. Like Jonathan, Daniel, Lauren, Victor, Zach, of course,
this
Charles,
is the thing.
Mike.
We don't have a big audience, but man, did they comment and have fun. And that's why we fucking love doing this. It's just fucking a blast because they bust chops. Fucking great.
But you guys are great. Like just like you guys are real, and like that's the time like you just mess around with people who are legit, and you guys are freaking legit. And it's just like you guys are real. Love hanging out with you, Greg. You and I, like even if we'll talk offline and just like have a good time, like it's great, man.
Like I tell my former love interest when I was young, size is relative, Doug.
The motion of the ocean.
All right, I just wanted you to know that, okay? So you say that they may not be that big, but that's just relative. Damn it. Right. And I'm not fat. I'm big boned. Damn it.
Okay,
right.
Cartman.
Right.
Not fat. I'm big boned.
How was that, Doug? Now that we've
really fucking good. Really,
we started with the whole pube thing, man. So we might as well just follow it through the whole stream and just keep it rolling.
So basically, the nose is nothing. It just smells like a fucking stout. But the strawberry banana play really nice. It's not. What's funny is the last one I had was a bourbon barrel aged stout that was super fucking sweet. It was not to my liking. This has a little bit of flavor, but it's a stout with just those flavors in it that it's not overly done. Really, really good. I mean, this is one that I've not had much of their stuff. It's from a place called, maybe Daniel knows it better, Fifth Frame out of Rochester, New York, which is up fairly close to Buffalo and our old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
But this is really good, but it's a good dessert stout, one of them. So, yeah.
All right, Doug.
It may be on the diabetes scale. I don't know.
Wilford Brimley should be on the top of that can.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Oh, not on this though. I will say, this goddamn thing that should have been a diabetes fucking bourbon barrel aged stout. Because holy shit, that was sweet.
Should come with a bowl of oatmeal just to like calm things down. Diabetes.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say cereal. We're gonna do this. I already told y'all I was up all night watching Ozark, and the second I get off of this, it's going to be back to Ozark. Doug, what are you watching?
Okay, so what I am watching is, I will share the screen here. You can see it.
I can see it. Oh, this
shit is...
This shit?
And I'm going to tell you, it is made by the same folks who make Great British Bake Off.
Where are you at? Okay, there you go.
The Great Pottery Throwdown. So if you've never watched pottery, it is weirdly fascinating and very hard to do. And these people are just come in and they have to build all this shit. And I'm just looking, and Jill and I watch it like, how the fuck did they do this? Like, how do they do this fast? And it's an extraordinarily fascinating. All the people on the show, just like Great British Bake Off, they fucking root for each other and they help each other. It's a thing I know almost nothing about, which, kind of tickles my fancy on that. But it is really, really good and really fascinating to watch and really funny. So,
do they play Unchained Melodies, like the lead-in?
No. I think there might be a copyright infringement with that. and no paranormal accomplices helped them make the pottery, as far as I know.
I love the fact that Lauren's like, Greg can stop watching Ozark at any time. He promises.
No, I can't. Right? No, I can't. I can't even. A bathtub full of milk is the best. I'm not even going to ask how Manny found that out. I'm not even going to.
Where you been spending your nights?
Right. Doug,
that's
what movie?
Manny.
But Doug,
what movie? What movie?
Doug, I have a question about this though.
Yeah, sure.
Humans will watch anything at this fucking point. I'm not even trying to talk down on it. I'm just saying that, like,
are you though? Are you?
But watching someone do pottery is probably fascinatingly. Yes, it's probably fascinating. But really, what the fuck though? Is that where we're at? Art is people watch pottery now?
All right,
the same people are questioning my sneaker collection and like the hoarding I have back here with all the Star Wars tchotchkes.
Right.
It's like to each his own. Like that's a thing where it's like you gotta find your circle. In our circle, we have certain things like fatherhood, beer, having good times. Then there's other things we might not like be into, right? But like.
Right. I hear you, Art. Listen.
It was a white guy who brought this up. Let me point that out. That was me, and I'm as tasty as they come. So yeah, it was
right.
Me.
So you're.
I love Zach's talking about like, let me talk about more about my white shit as the guy who, if you follow him on Instagram, is like, look what I just made.
Yeah, like check out this fucking meal I made with burger and chipotle peppers. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
We see you, Zach. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I already talked to Zach about this because I asked him if he watched the Halo show, and yeah, that's going to be a fun discussion when we have.
That's the pot calling the kettle white. Okay.
2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks for that. You got 2 weeks to prepare for Zach being on the stream.
That's just going to be off the fucking rails. That is going to be.
Well, it might break.
Prepare for 4 hours. Prepare for 4 hours.
It literally might break the stream.
3.5 hours is going to be about like while Ryu is better than Ken. Trust me. In Street Fighter.
One of the things will be Mana versus Zelda because that's a big fucking thing for him. So yes.
Art, do you have anything you're watching?
Moon Knight, anything
Moon
like
Knight's
Marvel.
so fucking good.
Moon Knight is just amazing, and like Moon Knight, like I knew about the character when he would team up with like Spider-Man and some other things, or in comic books, but Zach, but like I'll watch like shows that my kids are into because it's like a great way to bond and see what they're into. Yeah, do you know how many freaking letters I got? Be like, get this guy off your podcast. Threatening letters. It was intimidating. Fox Mulder showed up one time and he's like, we got some weird stuff going on. We need to cease and desist. I'm like, all right. I was going to be on an episode of X-Files, but that got canceled because that show went in a weird way. But no, like I would say, like I said, even though I'm rewatching Star Wars Rebels, my kids will like watch documentaries and I'll kind of watch them with them, or they'll like we'll be like kind of watching movies that my wife and I grew up and been like, all right, check these out, right? So those are the ones, and there's certain like some of the movies are hit or miss, and then some of them they like dig, some of them they hate. Obviously, I just repeated myself, hit or miss, but mostly it's like Moon Knight, anything Star Wars, and that's pretty much it. And then like obviously the other show that we're on, Greg, that you run, talk about video games and all that good stuff. I've just been like kind of into playing NHL 22 with my youngest, and then Star Wars Legos, like the saga that just came out. So I've been playing that.
You didn't beat that yet?
My OCD just not letting me beat that game for a while. It's like there's like I'm supposed to be in a fight scene with Count Dooku, but I'm like going around collecting all the coins so I can get all the blue bricks I possibly can. And Obi-Wan, I'm an Anakin, and Obi-Wan's yelling at me. He's like, "Come on, help me out!" I'm like, shut up! I gotta get all these bricks because I need to get this because as soon as we defeat him, it'll just show that I'm not a true Jedi, and my OCD just really gets to me. It's like I need to get all of these blue bricks just to make sure that I can go to bed at night. And if I don't, I just cry myself on my big pillow. So that's it. So
on your Star Wars pillow?
Oh yeah, I still have my sheets from when I was a kid. My wife hates it. No, I'm just joking. No, but like I do have a Wampa rug that I'll sleep in here sometimes.
All right. Be honest. Did you buy your wife a Leia outfit?
Here's the thing, though. I was never into the Leia thing. Never into the Leia.
Yeah, I never got it either. But
the Padme thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Greg's like, how do I?
Right, that's where we're at here.
Yeah. What about? Well, there's Padme and then there's Rey. So if you're gonna go that route, like,
I think it's
Art
generational.
Oh yeah, Art. One thing I didn't hear from you is superheroes. Are you down with any of them? They're everywhere. They're all over the place. Everything or every once in a while, or it seems like every week there's a new one coming out. We have the Batman was released. Where you at with superheroes? Marvel, DC, all of them, none of them. You don't care what?
Love them all, man. Big, like my favorite character of all time is Wolverine. I have like the limited set like back in the 80s, and I have like the full run from like Wolverine 1 to 150. I like Spider-Man, Batman, Green Lantern, The Flash, certain Superman arcs, X-Men, of course. But like, yeah, I'm into all that stuff, man. Like one of the best superhero movies is Logan. Like Logan was like should have been like the first Wolverine. Like Wolverine, like Hugh Jackman does a great job. Hugh Jackman does a great job.
Was that the backstory?
No, Logan.
Because there was Wolverine Origins, and then there's the Wolverine, and I'm not actually sure of the order. So can you explain what?
So Wolverine Origins was the first one. It happened after like the X-Men series, like the first, like, you know, they knew that like everybody gravitated towards Hugh Jackman's role of Wolverine. He did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like the Wolverine Origins, which actually had Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds was in it as Deadpool.
Yeah, but like, a completely different Deadpool.
Completely different Deadpool, and the origin of Wolverine was just like, if anybody, I have like the series run of Marvel Comics Presents where Wolverine gets infused with adamantium, and this was like back in like the 80s or 90s, and that was a great run, and like he gets ballistic. The fact that like I was like, well, that doesn't really happen when he gets his adamantium. He doesn't sit down and have a chicken dinner with Mom, Pa, Kettle on this farm, like. That like for some reason I'm watching the movie. Hugh Jackman's doing a great job. I'm like, yeah, that's not right. No, that's not right. Logan was the last movie of that series, and that was the best one. That was more geared towards Wolverine. It was rated R. They even did like a black and white version of it to kind of like make it noir and all that. That was fantastic. And there's a series called Old Man Logan that kind of takes from it, but also gives nods to like the X-Men movies and all that. Patrick Stewart's in Logan. I highly recommend that. One of the best movies of all time, I think, is Black Panther. Besides the original Star Wars trilogy, my favorite trilogy is the Captain America trilogy. Like bringing in the way they brought in the way they brought in Black Panther and Spider-Man was amazing. They realized it's like everybody knows he got bit by a spider. We don't need to like hash that again. Like Batman's like, oh, here comes the scene where he thinks about his parents dying, and after they leave the theater, like they didn't do that in Civil War, and the way they brought in Black Panther was great. And I'm really curious to see what they do with Black Panther 2. Like I'm just really curious. And yes, I am going to watch Ms. Marvel. I think all those movies are great. Like that one scene that a lot of people were ticked off in Endgame, where like it was pretty much like they called like the A-Force with all the women that were like helping Peter Parker. I got 2 daughters, man. They dug that scene. My wife, they're like, that was an amazing scene. Like I saw the movie before them, and then like we watched it all together in the theater again, and I'm like, get ready for this scene. Like I tapped my oldest on the shoulder, like, you're gonna love this scene, and she loved it. So Captain Marvel was great. I dug that. Like I'm into all the movies, and even like I don't know if you guys seen the Batman. I enjoyed the hell out of that one. No, that's like where he becomes the detective.
Yeah, but that's an investment. That movie is 3 fucking hours long. And that's a challenge for me to sit and we talk about binging. Movies are another thing. Is it an hour and a half? Yes. All right, I'm in. Is it 2.5 hours? Maybe. Like I just can't sit that fucking long.
You can't find a movie that's under 2.5 hours now.
But like I understand that, but like this was the one where he like Robert Pattinson thought like had a good take on it. My favorite Batman movie of all time is The Dark Knight. Oh. I love Keaton. I love Keaton as Batman. The first one was great. I can't wait to see him in Flashpoint. I know we got like Ezra Miller. Like there's a lot. Like that's a whole story and a half with the Flash. Like the idea. Like I like the CW series. Like the first few seasons of Arrow were good. The first few seasons of the Flash was good. Black Lightning was good. The first few seasons. They were great. Like they were fantastic. And I think Grant Gustinson, who plays the Flash in this CW series, like he should have just been right into the movies, right? Like I thought he did a better job as the Flash, but yeah, just like comic books, I probably can like keep on talking. I mean, just like sneakers, I can probably keep on talking about comic books, but like I love the fact that Pattinson had that like inner monologue. It was like following the story of Batman Year One in the comic books. And I thought it was really a really cool way that they depicted Batman and his relationship to Gordon and the police and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I liked a lot of it. My thumbs down were 2. Alfred, thumbs down. Didn't really see him, but maybe he'll grow as far as the trilogy goes. And part 2, I thought, sorry, and I've caught heat in this house for it, and I still continue to catch heat in the house for it. I thought the Batmobile was lame. So that's where I'm at. The Batmobile, for me, needs to be the centerpiece. It needs to be badass. And maybe it's because, this is a young Batman. So maybe just like he progresses in life, and we all do, his Batmobile will get more sleek and he'll use it more. We just had that one scene with the Batmobile in it. Not again. I come to see Batman for the Batmobile. Art. That's one thing that I check. It's a check mark. It is your Batman movie good? Well, is the Batmobile good? That's where I'm at.
What's your favorite Batmobile?
It has to be the Dark Knight one. That one was badass.
Yeah,
the Tumbler.
The Tumbler.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Thumper. That was a Tumbler. You're right.
Right. I mean,
like the Thumper. Oh wait.
I am Bambi, and I have the Thumper with me. We are
never mind my mom dying. No, wait, it's the same thing. My mom died too.
Barbara. Wait, Barbara. No, Martha, Barbara.
That
was a weird thing, the whole Martha thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
right. And I don't want to, no spoilers here, because I don't think he said anything spoilerish, but the one thing I did like about the Batman, or two things. One is what you mentioned, which is, they run around and say that Batman is this big detective, but we really never see them. We just see Batman coming in after all the detective work is done, kicking somebody's ass. And that's basically it. We don't ever see him, like, really use the Batcave and all those instruments and all that shit that he has to, like, be a detective. And we saw that. And I also this is kind of a spoiler, but it's not a big one. If you don't like it, sorry. Spoiler alert, go away. They took the whole movie to talk about the backstory of Batman, specifically his parents dying. Usually in a Batman movie, it's designated for 15 minutes at the beginning of any kind of Batman movie where they talk about, his parents got killed and this is why he's an angry motherfucker. Like, they went through the whole movie. It was a thread during the whole movie to tell that, as opposed to feeling forced that you have to tell it like 2 minutes in and like get it over with. It feels like they just do it to like get it over with, or like here. And then lastly, the villains were actually scary. I understand that there's people who like Batman for the campiness and the fun and, pow, zoom. That was 1960s, y'all. That was not the new Batman. The new Batman's dark.
Did you see the person?
Dark characters to weigh him out. That's why this guy's Riddler, in my opinion, was better than Jim Carrey's Riddler. Jim Carrey did it good, but he did the campy, over the top, where this dude did the scary shit.
Did you see someone created a YouTube video of Adam West and like all the people like Burgess Meredith and all those people and they put them into this Batman movie?
No.
It is amazing. It is really well done. You should check it out.
Right. So are we talking Thumper? Are we talking Dune now?
Dune.
That's a no, but what's up with Dune? Let's hear about it, Doug. That's an 18-hour movie, isn't it?
That movie was about 2.5 hours. Yeah, that was long. But I was also drunk when I watched it, so take that with a grain of salt. So
okay.
That's I thought it was excellent.
What does drunk Doug think about
it? It was visually stunning. Like, seriously, it's one of those movies that you watch.
It was great.
It's visually beautifully done. The problem is Dune is like the Dune book, the first one. It's not big, but there's fucking so many books that go through that whole universe, and it's set like 30,000 years into the future. It's crazy. And what's funny is they promoted it and they had Zendaya as like, Zendaya's in it. Yeah, Zendaya's in it for like fucking 10 minutes. Like, that's not the thing that sells that movie. And you talked about the guy from The Dark Knight, Oscar Isaac. He's in that movie. He's great in it. Jason Momoa's in it. If you like male eye candy, you're gonna get it in that movie. And it's fucking just really, really, really good.
Oh, okay. So it's a must see.
Yep.
It's a must see. All right. Because my boys are struggling.
And it won a shit ton of awards, and a lot of cinema, and a lot of
and the background and the set and all that bullshit. It's not bullshit. A lot of people do a lot of hard work put into that stuff, music score and all that wonderfulness. But yeah, they won all. They didn't really win they didn't win the the picture of the year, but they won they raked in. You're right, Doug. A bunch of these different awards as far as
And
that.
rightfully so. Rightfully
And
so.
Jonathan,
Right.
you're right. Like, dude, like that's the half of the story of Dune. There's
Yep.
going to be another part to it. So,
Yep. And then you know what they'll do, like they do with every movie? It'll be like, yeah, the rest of the half is coming, which we're going to break into 3 fucking movies. Like, God damn it.
Dune was okay. I said what I said.
I think you all seen it. What's your guys' take on No Way Home Spider-Man?
I did not see it. So
you didn't like it?
Greg, no, I didn't see it. So Greg,
okay.
you
Okay.
No, but
Yeah,
Greg,
it was
Greg,
it was
I'll get to it. I just haven't yet, but yeah.
no, and all these superheroes it's driven by the boys. That's what they want to see. So I mix in a Happy Gilmore. I'll mix in a Speed. I'll mix in a Die Hard. And meanwhile they want to do Marvel and Nintendo, and I'll mix in Knives Out. There are things that I push in, but mostly I get pushed on with these superhero movies. Doug, I wouldn't watch. Not that I wouldn't watch any of them. I would watch them unless if it wasn't for them saying, "Hey, let's watch it," and then the enthusiasm that they have for it. And sometimes, as a dad, y'all know, as they get older, sometimes you're just like, sometimes your kids are in your shit, meaning they love your sneakers and they love what you're doing, and they're all, they're gone. But at some point, it flips, and like they don't really give a shit about your shit anymore, and then you have to give a shit about their shit. So then that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, oh, y'all care about this? Okay, cool. I'll engage. It's not my favorite thing, but if I'm just going to be able to have a conversation with y'all and argue with y'all about it, then I'm absolutely in. So my son is a big apologist for this last Batman movie. I'm not as big as him. So we use it as a point of contention, or I use it as a point of contention. I actually wanted to talk to you guys about this because one of my fears as a parent is that, because it happened with me and my parents, is that our differences when I became an adult kept us away from each other. And I think it's because we didn't handle conflict and different, like disagreeing in a, I don't even know if healthy manner is to say, but we were so uncomfortable with each other when we disagreed that we would never have disagreeing conversations. And then that shit just blows up into a situation where we don't want to have any kind of contact because everything is right. So I use these dumb, and I mean by dumb ass conversations as a way to like push back on my kids and to argue with them, but it's not serious. So then maybe when we get to a point of life where we have these serious issues, that we could stick together even though we disagree, because we've been disagreeing about a lot. Does that make sense? Trying to work through, trying to make it an environment where we disagree isn't like, I'm not talking to you forever, or I don't want to talk to you for a week, or you know what I mean? Like we can disagree and then an hour go to the table and still have a good conversation, even though I think that what he thought about the Batman is warped. And I'm tired of all these stupid Spider-Man movies and all this flame. Sometimes Art, I just say flaming shit like this to them just to get a reaction. I don't even have to believe it half the time. You're shaking your head. What do you think about this, Art?
I think it's great, man. Like you need to show your kids that it's okay to have different points of view, right? You do, and you need to hear them out. If you say like, no, you don't know what you're talking about, that's not a great way. Because like, see how many things nice. Just think about like how many like what is this thing on social media, right? It's like people are absolutists. Like you're either with me or you're against me, right?
Yeah.
And the idea of having the art of conversation is kind of dead, right? And to show that like what you're doing, I think is great. Like we try and have an open forum in our house, like especially the dinner table is a great time just to chat and see like what's going on, share things about our day, highs, lows, all that good stuff. But like the idea of you don't have to like the things I like, and I want to know what you're into to my kids and my wife, and it's like, what are you into and why are you into this, right? Music is huge, right? Like especially with my oldest, as she becomes a teenager, like she's a teenager, but like there's certain songs. She's like, hey, do you mind if I download this? Because we have like an iTunes account. Like, it's got a swear in it. I'm like, when I was at your age, listen to Tupac, Biggie, and like she and I were like running some errands, and like we were listening to the Tupac, Biggie freestyle on the Funk Master Flex album. Like, this is the stuff I listened to when I was your age, right? And I was like, here you go. Like, and she was like, wow, there's a lot of swears in it. Like, she's like, your parents were cool with this? I'm like, as long as I didn't repeat it and I wasn't blasting it in the streets when I'd be driving here and there, it's like, you got to be respectful of like the people around you, right? And so, Greg, I think what you're doing, and like I know you guys, and I know like I follow you guys on what you're doing, especially in the realm of parenthood and all this other stuff. And I think like having a conversation and being like, oh, why is your perspective like this? Don't just because they're young, like, oh, you know what you were talking about. You say that, then guess what? They're not going to have a conversation with you. And so, like, for me, like, you need to have these conversations, and it's okay to have you and your spouse disagree in front of each other as long as it's constructive and all that good stuff. Your kids will see that, and then you want to give them an open forum because this is a safe place for them, and they can feel like they can find their own identity, especially when they're teenagers. They're trying to like navigate who the heck they are, right? So it's like, this is the time where you don't like poo-poo their things and be like, this is it, man. Like, let's talk about this. Why do you feel this way? And what's your generation about this? Because their generation is totally different, their perspective. And for people to be like, oh, they're millennials, or oh, they're this. And it's like, that's not healthy, man. We see it all the time, the vitriol and all this other stuff on social media. Like, you got the keyboard gangsters and all that stuff. And it's like, let's just be real. And like, just because you have a difference of opinion, that's fine. Let's see where we're at. So having that dialogue that you do it in a fun way. It sounds like you're like, all right, let's just kind of get this going, man. So, and I see in the chat, they're talking about like rappers. I love 80s and 90s rap, like early 2000s. Zach is so right. Like, Kendrick Lamar, he is amazing. Like, he is like, to me, like one of the most like gifted, intelligent, the stuff that he produces and the stuff that like he has so much confidence and like, well, outward confidence. I'm going to be on a Taylor Swift album. I'm going to be like Bad Blood. To me, my kids growing up love, Taylor Swift. Bad Blood's a banger, man. I love that, especially Kendrick stuff. Like, do it up. Like, the idea where, like, I remember like MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice got a lot of crap just because like all their sellouts. Are you telling me you wouldn't be offered, like, if someone offered you $3 million to like support, like, do this Taco Bell thing, you wouldn't take it? Get out of here. Miss me with that stuff, because you would be taking that, right?
Right.
So remember Ice-T was like that. He said, and people would give him shit, and he's like, dude, these people are paying me to do shit. I'm making money off of that. Fuck off. We all were fucking poor, and I have a chance to make extra money doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I'm playing a cop on TV. Who gives a shit? It's acting. Yeah. Like, you see people like that just like going, well, I'm taking advantage of what the system's giving me.
And you know that Ice-T is not taking, like, he's not taking himself too seriously, where he can be like, yeah, I might have an album talking bad about the police, and then all of a sudden I'll be on TV on Law and Order, and like, he does a great job as a detective. Like, you got to understand, like, rappers and musicians and all this stuff, they have this persona, they're acting, right? Like, that's the thing where, like, I know I kind of took it in a different place. Doug, you can kind of answer Greg's question about just the dialogue you have in your house, but like, the idea of just having like a one-way conversation in any relationship sucks, but if you do it with your kids, it's not going to go well, man.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. So like, I've talked a couple of times on our show about how I have LGBTQ kids in my house. And let me tell you, if you're not willing to give them space to explore who they are, you're fucking missing the fucking boat, and you're doing a disservice to your kids. Now, there are certain things that I will say I disagree with. And as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else, then that's on you. And you will take responsibility. And I always say, you're going to have consequences, good and bad, for all the shit you do, all of it. So some of it will be good consequences. You'll get something you like out of it. Some consequences are not so good, but you're going to have to learn to navigate those waters, because here's the thing. I want the world to look like how you guys want it to look. I really do. I really fucking do. We're not there yet. We have too many people safeguarding that and making barriers to you getting to that place where everybody can be themselves. So you're going to have to navigate those waters, which means you're going to run into shit you don't like. but you're going to have to bust through. And I'm sorry because I can only do so much to help that. But you guys are going to make it better. I really do believe that. But it also means you're going to have to run in the waters of, for instance, like at my go-to is usually things with work, because I've worked in fucking corporate world for I've worked for 35 fucking years, or 36. I understand that when you get in there and you're thinking you should go in, I don't like doing that. Yeah, that sucks. But you're going to have to learn to go, this sucks, and I'm going to work my ass off to do that bit until I can get the hell out of there and find something that isn't that way. And what's going to happen is, and you see it kind of moving now, where you see people, I work from home all the time. That would never have been the case even 5 years ago. But I work in IT, so I can work from home. I don't need to be on site. But employers always were like, no, fuck that. Now what they're seeing is, with the pandemic, you're seeing people being able to be just as productive at home, if not more productive. I work more from home than I do when I was on campus. And they're seeing that, and they're seeing the productivity part of it. And I want people to be able to understand that in our economy, if you're working in a service sort of perspective where you're not required to be face-to-face, you can do good work. And you can do a lot of work.
Yep.
But that's still going to take some people at the top who are older. Now, listen, I'm an older guy. I'm 50 fucking years old, but I can see what they want. But there's people who are a little older than me, or even my age, that don't see it. There's a lot of, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, sometimes you don't. Maybe you need to do it for a little bit until we get to a point where we can change that. And I just want to be able to give my kids hope, but also be understanding of the realism of what they're facing. You're going to encounter some barriers, and that's going to fucking suck. But you're strong enough and you can do shit. You just have to work in the confines of what you have until you can break those stupid barriers down to get to where it really should be. And sometimes they look at me and think I'm just a fucking geezer or a boomer because I'm not understanding what they're saying. Guess what? I did that to my parents. You don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. Yeah, I do. And I tell my parents all the time, hey, I'm sorry I was such a dick. But also, like, I knew some things that they didn't because I was growing up in an era that they weren't.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time with older folks who are like, hey, well, you just don't understand. And there are parts I'm going to listen. I get to what you're saying. You don't understand this bit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You can change this. It's going to take work, but you can do it. But I'm just going to tell you what you're facing. That's a little serious for the show. I'm sorry about that, but it was just, there's things that I'm passionate about, and my passion is about showing other kids what you can do and what you're facing, what are the obstacles in that way. And I think the kids that we have, like all of our kids are teenagers or somewhat close, they're going to fucking change things. And that's great, but it's fucking hard. Zach, I'm not just a pretty face, Zach. I have things to say.
Doug,
it's deeper than this exterior, right, Doug?
Doug, what you're saying is 100% spot on, man. Like, you're preaching to the choir. Like, what our kids are going through is totally different than what we are going through, but it's a circle of life. And I was talking earlier about like 80s and 90s rap, Digital Underground, like the first appearance of like Tupac rapping the song, same song, right? Like, anywhere you go, it's just the same song, right? Like, it's different things, but it's just kind of the same like battle that each generation is fighting. And dude, you're spot on. Like, my friends and I were talking recently about like the idea of people going into work. Like, why do you need to go in a building? Like, here's a way that you can like help like big corporate America and also help the people who don't need to go into an office, right? People who don't need to go in an office, don't worry about going back to that office building anymore. What are you gonna do with that office building? Here's an idea. All the homeless people, go take it, like, let them live there. Let them live in those office buildings that are no longer being used, right? And have people train them to become like jobs so they can like get like off their feet. And then that the people who own those buildings, they can get a tax credit for all the people that are helping out. Why don't you do that? You're not tearing down a building. You're keeping people like safe, warm, food. There you go. And the people who can work from home. And the people who are renting those buildings, you get a tax credit. There you go. And you're helping other people. Why not do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I also, again, I kind of want to build a little resistance for my kids. One of the things that I enjoyed coming up was just the back and forth with my friends and understanding that, our differences are a point of fun, actually, and a point of, you know what I mean? Like growing, and a point of, just having a good time. Like, I don't know, maybe, again, I'm oldish, so I don't know what the young kids do. I don't know if they're still as jokey and as poke funny and as self-deprecating as we were coming up. Like, it seems like they're just, I don't know, maybe it's just too much Reddit and TikTok, but it seems like they're just ready to swing on you more than they're ready to just laugh at you or just have a good laugh. Or, Doug and I talk, Doug's like, I'm a 50-year-old, blah, 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 blah. I'm not really that far behind Doug.
Same.
But at some point, all right, I just let Doug go on that, and then I almost feed into that, even though I'm like months behind him. I'll feed into that as opposed to bring it out, and I'll just joke about it, or, yeah, look at this old guy over here. But meanwhile, I'm over here, and that's how we were when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like, I was just as much of a dork as the dorks that I ran with. I mean, you run with, a lot of times, of course, your proximity dictates who you can run with. But at some point, you pick who you run with. And at this stage of all our lives, we pick who we run with. So why shouldn't it be a fucking joke and self-deprecating and fun and all that? So that's what I'm teaching my kids, especially my youngest, who I wouldn't say he's really borderline. He's close to being a Kanye fan. How about that? Like, I don't know if he is or not, or I don't know if he does it just to troll me. But like, Kanye West is one of the people that I have probably like the most like, the dude just annoys me. So then he's pretty much always coming out of my mouth for some crazy shit. So then I think my youngest has definitely picked up on this. And then he's always like, he has Kanye verses. Yo, there's going to be a Donda 3, he told me. And I'm like, there should have been a Donda 1. So it's cool. Let's just triple down on Kanye's nonsense. And then he'll come back with, something. But then really, though, at the end of the day, I'm like, are you really Kanye? He's like, no, not really. Like, I just like to poke fun, and I just like to have fun, and that's me. So I just want to I want to support that shit. And my best way to support it is just to continue it and keep it going, right? So that's why Yeezys I'm always talking about Yeezys and how crazy it is. The one morning we knew that there was a Yeezys drop. So we literally were on our phones, and I was on my tablet, like, looking at all, like, what? So if I really wanted some fucking $800 Yeezys, what the hell would I do? And my son's like, let's get on. So we got on, and like it was crazy art seeing this shit like sell out in like seconds. And there was like there's timers and countdowns, Doug. And they're like, okay, you can buy your Yeezys in 3 minutes, and you just see the thing. Then all of a sudden it pops up and it's like sold out. And it's like, I didn't even get to click on. I wasn't buying this shit anyway, but I didn't even get to click on Yeezy slides.
Welcome to the sneaker game.
Right. Right.
Ooh.
And
no, but like Victor
this is how you become a billionaire, though. Like, so I don't slight Kanye in this thing. I mean, he's a fantastic businessman. And he clearly got his shit together, because remember, he was on Twitter 3 years ago begging money from Elon Musk, or who was it? Bill Gates or somebody, because he was poor. And now all of a sudden he's a billionaire. So whatever. But anyway, what are you gonna say? Right?
No, like, totally agree, man. Victor says, like, James Lopez's son is the one to watch. Like, if you felt like fatherhood is lit, like, he uses that hashtag, James Lopez, real one. Like, that dude can rock.
Yeah. What does this mean?
So him and his son, like, James, like, what you guys were just talking about, and when we got Zach, we got serious there for a moment. But like,
sorry,
2 seconds, damn.
Doug, from what you said, like, it's totally legit. Like, these are the conversations you have when you're drinking with your buddies and like talking about life, right? And obviously, we're trying to be an involved father, so that's gonna pop up. But like, James walks the walk.
Yes.
And like he talks the talk, but he also walks it, man.
Yes.
And he's all in on fatherhood too. And like, all these people that are in here are great people. Like Victor, great dad. You guys are great parents as well. But like James with the Fatherhood is Lit program, man. Like, his sons are like, hey, I want to get into start flipping sneakers or start flipping Supreme like gear. He shows them how to do it. He navigates. James uses his knowledge. His kids use their knowledge. They work together and they like start like flipping shoes. And that's a great way. Yeah. Like if you follow him on social media, man, like it's legit. Check him out. And like there's certain things that they'll copy, like the Nike Dunk, and there you go. So it's like that's what you need. Like embrace what you're like. Our hustle when we were growing up is totally different than today's kids hustle. Like I want my kids to go to college? Of course. But like I think this generation, our kids generation, they might not need to go to college because all the stuff that they're going to need to know, they're probably doing right now, right? Like the game is always changing, and if we're not like in the know with that, like it's insane. It's like so James is making sure like he knows what his kids are about, and he encourages them to be entrepreneurs. Like it's amazing. So Victor was right, man.
So I gotcha. And also shout out to James in his recovery. Get well. He's a past guest.
Get well, man. Get well. Yep.
So get well to James
Lopez.
Well.
Get well, James.
He's great fella. They learn it all from TikTok. Remember when we used to say you learn it all from YouTube?
Yep.
Now it's TikTok. So
you learn it all from G.I. Joe because knowing's half the battle. And like
right. I agree with Manny. Should have been Dada. Right.
Should have been Nada. But as a producer, Kanye is fantastic, man. Like when he works with Jay, like it's like there are certain things like Diddy, like he might have some party anthems or some like club anthems, whatever the case may be, but like him finding Biggie, him working and like being being the shout guy, being like I like that, like and like in a Biggie verse, that's fine, and like the way he can produce something, perfect, right?
Yes.
But like
I don't know, the music went downhill like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right? His or
I'm
just
talking about Kanye.
Kanye.
Like the shit used to be good. I don't know. I thought it was really top notch when he first
Through a Wire was amazing. Now, I think it was rapping while he had like.
But now it's just this. Then he took this religious angle, Doug, and I don't think
you know how I feel about that shit. I'm not gonna go into it.
Oh, I feel the same way. You're just more more out there, or more vocal about your. But I feel the same way. But like artistic wise, though, we've seen. Listen. This is a big contention with a lot of music, Art, and I know you're going to agree with me, which is all these bands go through this where they come out. Let's use Metallica as a reference, whether you like them or not. Here's a band that came out as like a speed metal band almost. Big, heavy, and just lock your socks out. Then it took a turn to more mainstream rock. And a lot of their fans were like, fuck this. But what the fuck this fans didn't understand was that Metallica might have brought in more people with their turn to a broader realm. Maybe people like me. But I was always a heavy rock guy back then. My point is that when they make these turns, artistically, they're just tired. I think a lot of times they're just tired of playing that shit over and over again. All right, you did a turn, in my opinion. You were with the Life of Dad guys, and then you went on your own. Like to me, that's a turn. You know what I mean? You did a certain thing. You did it well for many years. There was, you'll say it right now, and I'll say it too. From what I know, there was no bad blood. It wasn't like you left in a huff or got angry or people didn't like you, or you didn't. It wasn't anything like that. You just made a turn in your professional life and made a turn on your creativity. You did something for so long that at some point you just naturally progressed. Even Beyonce, in my opinion, she went from Destiny's Child to single Beyonce, like popish, and now Beyonce, in my opinion, is
whoa. Hold on. I want to save you.
Watch what I say.
Don't say anything bad about Beyonce because the Beehive will attack you. Right? I love you. I love you.
I know the Beehive.
I love you.
I'm aware. It seems like a lot of these people have Taylor Swift's another one. Don't
Swifties.
Don't smack on them. But now Beyonce's this bigger opera singer-ish, where she takes these big runs with her voice, and she her music is almost like cinematic.
Yeah.
Didn't she have, you know what I mean? And that's, don't get me wrong, it's great, but it's a lot different than Destiny's Child Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I don't think people give artists to show their range. That shows Beyonce's range. It shows that the woman is multi-talented. She's not just a pop star. She's not just the fourth person in Destiny's Child or whatever the hell she was when she started. You know what I mean? So I think that's what we see sometimes when we see it more in the music industry than we see it in the acting industry. But you can see it in the acting industry when, Will Smith comes in as dorky fucking, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and now he's doing Richard and winning awards for that, and being, showing drama and doing different, Armageddon, remember that stupid ass movie? Will Smith was in it. I mean, it actually wasn't really that stupid ass. It kind of was, though. But my point is that he played like a hokey guy, and then he advanced. So, but I think music, there's a lot of this in music, and people don't talk about that, which is the turn. And then Metallica sold out is what people said. But Metallica may have sold out because they got vastly more popular after that.
What, why, especially in the punk scene, right? Like if you're like this and all of a sudden become mainstream, like, oh, they sold out. No, I think musicians, but also in general, people, if you don't evolve, if you don't if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, what kind of growth are you having, right? What type of evolution are you having? And what type of, just kind of taking it back to fatherhood, are you showing your kids what you're doing, right? And no matter what you're doing, don't just stay complacent, because then your kids or your friends will be like, oh, he's just doing the same old, right? That's the thing. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. But
I think that was a direct quote from the Metallica documentary. I'm not kidding, because I remember him saying, "Yeah, we sold out every seat in the house." Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I think evolution is necessary as long as it's productive and you're doing things for the right reasons, right? And challenging yourself needs to happen, because you grow as a person. And if you show your kids, even though I'm done with school, college, all that stuff, I'm still learning, you need to show them you're still learning, right? So yeah, that's what I was wondering. Smith wasn't in Armageddon, it was Independence Day. Welcome to Earth.
Right. Sorry, right. Welcome to Earth. That perfect.
No, but people will get ticked off if people are trying something new, but why not? Because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if you're a pop singer and if you're just in this niche and you're all right, okay, yeah, it sounds like the other one, or after a while, I felt like Daft Punk kind of evolved in different things, and then they stopped because all right, we're done. I think Homework was their best album. For Outkast, a lot of people have different takes on it. I think AT-Aliens was their best album. I felt like they were searching for a new identity after Southern Playacalistic. And I loved AT-Aliens. And of course the other ones were the big hits and all that, not knocking their fame. And then it was kind of cool that they kind of did the double album where, Big Boy was doing something, and then Andre 3000 was doing something, and they'd maybe work together on a couple albums together on their different double albums. But the idea of people staying stagnant, I'm whatever. But I like when people you see the growth. You see the growth, and you're all right, cool. They're trying something new. You can't knock someone for changing something. And if you, like I said, it's just to keep on exploring different things. And I totally agree with you, man.
Doug, anything?
No, I think Art has. I think you're doing the if you're not growing, you're not changing. Now, yes, I remember that, Zach.
Zach's going full no Vaseline right now. Come on, man.
Right.
By the way,
no
Vaseline was the second awesome rap diss album. The first one, to me, maybe because I'm biased, was the Tupac Hit 'Em Up. Hit 'Em Up was just
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
I
take
agree.
everything.
I'll take both of those for 500, Alex. Anyway, yeah, I think if you're not progressing, you're doing the same.
And Dre stick to producing and making what earplugs. He doesn't do that anymore. I know he sold it, but
that's another great thing what they were doing. Like, because like Bose was trying to take over the NFL. Dre's like, no, let me. I'm Dr. Dre, one of the kings of hip hop. All right, cool. Gives it to NBA players, gives it to NFL players. That like notoriety and like people like seeing like, you know, because those sports are like you see them like they show footage of them like warming up. What are they wearing? Beats by Dre, right? And it's like, oh, what's this about? I don't want earbud. I don't want like those big headphones. Oh, they sell earbuds. They do.
Right.
Good on you, man. You made like not only music, like the idea of again evolving and pivoting and all that other good stuff. So it's like,
and by most accounts, Beats by Dre weren't special fucking speakers at all. They're just speakers that everybody wanted. Period. That's it. I feel, why isn't it the same with the Yeezys? They're not. Again, I missed the special part of it. Maybe they are comforting your feet, Doug. Maybe they massage every toe and all that. But I don't see that. I don't feel it. But people want it, so supply and demand, brah. That's just the way it is.
It's the hype.
It is. And Doug, if we don't stop talking, we'll be here another 4 hours.
Oh yeah, we will. I was just replying to Zach about
Doug, someone wants to watch Ozark.
Yeah.
Well, Brown's picking 2 picks. So every time I keep looking over here like that, yeah. Fuck Ozark, man. I got an hour and a half of that shit, and then it's over forever. And it's a shame because it's good shit. But anyway, and y'all keep y'all spoilers to yourself, but I don't think anybody could have watched it as fast as me. So 7 shows in like a day is what I'm gonna do. That shit's crazy, Art.
Dude, that is a third of your fucking day. You could do so much.
Yes. I could have, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as watching Ozark.
Maybe not, but you could have done so many things.
I could. You know what, Doug? It's gone, and there's no reason bullshitting about it now. I mean, what am I gonna do? So yeah. I finished the Peaky fucking Blinders last week, Doug.
No, you won't, because it's new season coming out soon, so you didn't finish it.
Oh, I did. Yeah, last week. Yeah. But I gotta wait a month for this shit, and I don't want to wait a fucking month. God damn it. But at least they're releasing them all at one time. Netflix.
That's their mistake. Do it one at a fucking time. Do it one at a time. Make everybody wait.
No, Netflix, don't. You want to stop 100,000 more motherfuckers from leaving your shit? Download them all at once, bruh. Don't listen to him.
Greg, to quote Axl Rose, all you need is a little bit of patience.
No.
High five her.
No. And I fucking hated that song when it came out, but I gave it a little patience, and I started to love it when I. Right? No, listen, no. So,
yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Right. Quiet, Doug. Correct. Right. A GNR. I mean, you slid in some GNR. Right. I was telling you, don't you cry tonight. Right. All right, fellas. Let's talk about, before we let Art go, Art, what was in your glass and what were you enjoying all evening?
Crown Royal
and how many
with some limes.
How many did you enjoy?
He doesn't even remember. He can't remember. They're just four pours.
4 pours. Yep. Yeah.
Damn. Did we cover everything with Art, Doug?
Man.
No.
We did. We never do. And guess what?
Greg, just use your illusion. Just use your illusion and say we did.
Oh, we're still there.
Oh, we're there.
Oh, look, pour some Art on me.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
That's a whole different band, but okay.
Art, you are a question. What I like about this is that you usually are asking the questions. So I like that we flip this around on you. And we asked you the motherfucking questions tonight. But welcome to the jungle, y'all. Right? All right. Welcome to the jungle.
Hopefully nobody dies.
And Victor's going to Paradise City, where the grass is green and the girls apparently are still pretty. Daniel, I don't have any patience. I'm losing it.
Is Mr. Brownstone in the chat?
Yeah, this place is yeah. All right, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to because we're bad interviewers? We're horrifying here.
No, man. Like I said, like I feel like we could talk for hours.
And that's because we could, and we do when we go to conferences that we haven't been to in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know how we spend like 10 o'clock p.m. to like 4 a.m. sometimes.
Yep.
Just talking trash in the lounge.
Yep.
Doug drinking whiskey or something.
Hey, whoa. Why are you throwing me as the drunkard into that scenario, motherfucker? You were all drinking. All of you.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I'm just saying you were too.
That's fair.
Oh, just the last dad conference we were at, it was in DC before the whole world shut down.
2 minutes before. 2 minutes.
Yeah. Creed Anthony and I we're done hanging out with a couple other dads at I think Lauren was there for the karaoke thing. He and I left. We got an Uber and it was a Hello Kitty van decked out in Hello Kitty. The lady was like a little driver driving us around there was Hello Kitty everywhere. And I'm just like,
you're lucky you got home.
I was like, yeah, this is how we die.
Right.
But 2 days ago, I take a screenshot of of Nike and Little Kitty.
Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Thank you. Hello Kitty doing a collaboration. I'm like, Creed, do we need to get these sneakers? And he's like, we do. I'm like, we'll probably die if we wear these sneakers, so we're not going to even touch them. But everything comes full circle back to these conferences. Yeah, but we could talk more. I know you're going to have Zach on. I can't wait for that, and there are other great people on there as well. But dude, I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. I love what you guys are doing, and this was fun.
Yeah, and if you want to crash when Zach's on, I should have set it out on the damn stream. We should have just had you crash late in Zach's appearance.
And I'll just be screaming all in caps.
Yeah. Right. Hello Kitty Adidas sneaks. Are we serious?
That's who knows. It's pink. Probably it's Zach.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah.
Who fucking knows?
All right, Art. We're going on 2.5 hours here, and God damn it, we're not supposed to go this long. It's Doug's fault.
Yeah.
So,
always.
Yep, it's Doug's fault. But we will also see Art on the next Lag Libations of Los Angeles, happens on the second Wednesday of every month here on all these bat channels. But also, Doug, do you have a Halo review for us yet, or what's going on? We have to.
No, because I haven't finished the game, and also I'm watching through the show, so I kind of actually wouldn't mind talking about both, but we'll get to that.
There we go.
That's a fair point.
Right.
Go hit up Jonathan's comment. Pure gold.
No.
The one before?
No, it was great.
Oh, yeah. We do have an appetite for destruction. Look, we're keeping Charlie. I hope we're not keeping you away from
Magic Time.
Right.
Magic Time. I haven't set up
hello, Paradise City.
Yep, that's fair.
There you go.
You know, I'm not caught up on Winning Time or Moon Knight. I have to watch the next episode because I've been trying to finish through Our Flag Means Death, which is fucking excellent.
Doug, get the tissues for episode 5.
I heard the next episode is a tearjerker, so I'm looking forward to it.
See, and this is what happens. See, if you just binge them, then you don't have to hear any of these.
Good night.
Yeah, you're full of shit, dude. This is the thing. This is what makes it good. You're like, oh, Pubadice City.
where the books are dirty and the boxes are too.
Right. Get your pew boxes ready, y'all. Wait, Doug. So having your shit spoiled is a benefit of not being able to see all this shit at once?
It's not fucking spoiled.
Art, we love you, man.
Love you, man. Thanks for
you're
being on.
One of my favorite podcasters of all fucking time, and that is the truth. That is not hyperbole.
Yep.
You kick ass at it. Y'all need to check out The Art of Fatherhood. It's been streaming down at the bottom there.
Yep.
.net. You'll find all the wonderful things there. You follow Art Eddy. We can follow Art Eddy 3 is everywhere, right? Like
on
Twitter, TikTok.
No, Twitter, and then like just
Facebook.
Just go to artoffatherhood.net. You can find me all.
Click on all those little. Yeah. He has all the icons. How about that?
How about that?
All right, we love you. Is that my Michelle? We will talk to you soonish. Actually, again, you had to cancel the last time, and it took almost a year for you to come back.
Because you guys are legit, man. You guys don't know. No, you guys are like. You guys have a great like lineup, so like I'm sorry.
How about late summer, man? I'm serious.
Cool.
And again, we love our repeat guests. We love having our friends on. We love all that. So I just wanted to thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool.
If you want to hang out, obviously.
If you want to hang out, we have an after show. If you want to hang
here,
he already knows
for sure.
Doug, the last time you left, and me and Art talked shit for like 3 hours after that.
Yeah, and I won't be out super long because I have to return a phone call, as you remember.
Yeah, you have some dumb show you need to watch, but you should have watched it when it came out. You gotta get Doug. You gotta wake up at like 3 a.m.
Hey, motherfucker! I can't stay up. I'm on a million medications. I can't stay up past like 10 o'clock.
I am too. That's what keeps me up.
I'm doing you a service by staying up this fucking late.
Doug, live and let die. God damn it.
Hey, that's not a great comment to me, motherfucker.
I don't know. It's a pretty good GNR song as they all go, though. I mean, that shit was
definitely a good.
That shit was jamming. Right. That shit was jamming. Anyway, Art, we need to let you go. We can settle our disputes, together.
In post-production, sure. We'll do that.
Yeah, it's really never. Well, I don't have a dispute with Art. I've always had disputes with you, especially we didn't even get to the top sheet thing. We haven't even got to the top sheet avocados. There's just so much mess with you, Doug.
Wait. Who hates avocados?
I just fucking Doug. He hates avocados. Like,
it's green wallpaper paste.
No.
But we'll do this another.
He gets muted when he talks about avocados. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Look, I got 2 working draft beers. I got a hazy IPA. That was fantastic. Club culture. This is the one that pays the bills. But they do make a lot of lagers over at Working Draft. This is a Czech pills, but they make fantastic lagers. Lagers are all the rage now. Nowadays, people are coming back to them, Doug. People love them. I don't know what in the hell's going on with that. But it's cool that people are. I think it's a pandemic thing. I think people are going back to what they love and classics and safe beers, and lagers have become safe because craft breweries are doing them so fucking good now. So, that was mine. These are 2 definitely, again, Working Draft ones. If you're in Madison, Wisconsin, you know Working Draft. If you don't, you live in a damn cave. Go on, Doug.
This was the bourbon barrel aged thing. This bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. They should have just named it a sweet stout. It was way too sweet for my taste, and I don't shit on beers too often. And this brewery makes decent beers.
It's way too sweet on a damn stream where you had a strawberry banana.
This was the most sweet beer. This is the sweetest beer I had. That's fucked up. This is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. This should not be that sweet.
And your other 2 beers we're about to see were pastry stouts. So how do you out-sweet a pastry stout? Go on, Doug.
I'm telling you. So this is my second favorite. Was the orange pineapple creamsicle custard cream ale. This is a weird one. I bought it because it was fucking weird. It was super orange creamsicle-y. It was pretty sweet beer. Mine, Daniel. You are totally right. This shit was. And I bought a 4-pack of those. That I'm a little mad about because I'm not going to drink any of the rest of these. So
Dougie Walker is out of his mind.
This was my favorite. This was the clawfoot bathtub, which is great can art.
That's unique.
And it is a pastry stout that is chocolate covered strawberry and banana. Hits all the criteria. It was not overly sweet like most pastry stouts, which was a little bit surprising, but good. Yeah, Dougie Wonka might be out of his damn mind, but that fucking stout was too goddamn sweet. So, hey, you know what, JHG? Fuck off. This is really good.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
By the way, the lowest beer I had was 6.5, and the other one was 10, and the other was 11.3. So maybe I'm feeling a little bit.
Now that shit would be fun. All GNR karaoke session. It'd probably be better than what Axl Rose sounds like nowadays.
Oh.
Just
did you ever hear the Pat Oswalt skit where he talks about Axl Rose running out on the stage, and he goes, "I got to the jungle." He couldn't run out to the full stage because it was too much. It was too far.
No, right. You missed it. It was a Wonka reference, Doug.
I don't care.
Okay, you don't have to. But what you do have to is tell us a little bit about next week's guest.
Well, this is one that we've been trying to get on for a long damn time. And I think everybody in Dad Blogger community knows her. It's Rue Powell, who started a nonprofit called SOSA, which is a Stop Online Sexual Assault of teenagers specifically, and had a show that has a show that got picked up for a second season, and it's
on ID Discovery, I believe.
Discovery Plus.
Yep, and Discovery Plus. I'm sorry, it's on Discovery Plus, right, correct. And she does that whole who used to do that? It wasn't Chris Wallace. Who used to do that on MSNBC where they would but it
was called the show she does is Undercover Underage, where she basically poses as an undercover teen, and it is gripping, and it is fucking terrifying, and it is necessary. That's the best way I can explain it. And having her on, she's fucking. It's funny that show doesn't show it because she's doing.
We're gonna show it though. We're gonna show it.
But she's super hilarious, super funny,
right?
Super
hell
smart,
yeah, she's funny.
super gifted.
Yes.
Just like she's gonna be an unbelievable guest. We are really lucky to have her. So Rue Powell.
And the seriousness is going to be built in, but it's going to be our job, Doug, to talk about nonsense so she can, relax a little bit, because her job and her show is so, like you said, serious and gripping and infuriating and it'll anger you, but she's just fantastic. And I'm actually glad we actually have, damn, Doug, a real life TV person. I mean, not that we've had him before, and we're going to have him again, actually. We have an Oscar winner
coming up
on our list. Coming up, are we going to be able to see it? I'm just that whole thing. We're gonna play the vague game here. We're gonna vague book y'all for that one, but we are excited about that. But the Oscar winner isn't Rue, even though she should fucking win one for that show, because it's just a great show. But it's also an asset to society, letting people know what the hell's really going on, and especially if you have young kids like we do who are online. That shit's important. So yeah, it was Chris Hansen was he used to do that on NBC. I think it was NBC, or it was an NBC thing for sure. But yeah, Rue is fucking awesome. She's fantastic. Like Doug says, she just goes the gamut. So we want to talk. We definitely want to get into all that. But at some point, we're going to break and talk about top sheets, or why Doug is an idiot about avocados. Avocado toast, Doug. You put avocado on toast. It's so complex, but yet it's vastly amazing. Look at that. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you, JHG.
Yeah, can I also?
Yeah, what's up?
We have three things to talk about. Actually, we have.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You're right. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to run off when this is important, and we need.
These are important. Yes. So
yes.
we have three previous guests with really big news. We have both Mallory O'Meara and Jackie Summers receiving James Beard Award nominations for writing, which is fucking ridiculous. We've had those people on. James Beard's a big goddamn deal in the culinary world. We have Jackie Summers talking about Sorrel liquor. We have Mallory O'Meara talking about her book Girly Drinks. And then we have our friend Afro Beer Chick who got a cocktail at Revolution Brewing for
cocktails.
Cocktails. Well, one of them is the old something new, which is an old fashioned variation.
Yep.
That's amazing stuff. So it's just something where we really should do stuff like that. Just give a shout out to folks who've been on our show.
Absolutely.
And I love that we have just amazing plethora of guests who have just things going on in their life that are way bigger than what we could envision.
Amen. And lastly, Afro Beer Chick is making a public appearance in Milwaukee.
Yes.
You can check her out on her Twitter for the details for that. It's for One Pint, the movie about I forget what it's called. One Pint. Oh, I'm sorry, my
something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's about white. It's white. Jesus Christ. It's about black breweries. It's a documentary about black breweries in America and the struggles that they face and the triumphs that they have accomplished. So, Doug, I want to thank you for that. Hats off to Mallory O'Meara and Jackie Summers, who are just amazing in their own right. It's great that they have graced us with their presence, and they're going to do it again. Somehow, Doug, I don't know how, but we've convinced them to come back, both of them. So I don't know. I blame you for that, I guess. Well, I blame you for both of those guests. You brought those fabulous people to us, and I guess I blame myself for not fucking it up bad enough that they don't want to come back. So, Doug, I love you. Talk to you soon.
Love you, man.
Love to you. Love to everybody. Cheers, people.
Cheers.